Yeah, I'm just gonna do it live here. We'll get it set up here in a second. We'll do it live. All right, people can hear you now.
Oh shit. Okay, don't say anything.
All right.
There's Jeff.
Hello. Let me get you guys in here.
Hi.
Hello. You know what? Can I do it without me being there? Nope. That just that just focuses him. All right. I'll figure this out.
This is the life you chose.
Yes, I did this to myself.
Yep.
Yesterday was weird.
What was weird?
Yeah, they're having the Nintendo Direct and you weren't involved and everything, and was that because there was so much news? Yeah, I bet.
And then Nintendo's decisions were weird.
Were
they? Well, I mean,
yeah.
Well, okay, yes, a lot of them were. No, I've just remembered about Chris Pratt. A lot of them were cool.
No,
a lot of things, more things were cool than weird.
Yeah, but I don't understand doing another pricing tier on Switch Online.
Sure. Well, I mean, I don't either, but I'm also not surprised about it. I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just they think they can get away with it, is what it is.
I just don't see what they think the return on investment's going to be there.
I think they just think they'll get away with it, so they're going to try.
Yeah. I think they're like, these idiots will pay for anything.
Can people not hear me? Is that a thing?
They should be able to hear you. We can hear you, so they should be able to hear you.
I know. Someone asked if are we doing the mic is muted joke? Or are they just pretending I'm muted?
I think they might be doing that. Might be a meme now, Mike.
Yeah, now you have PTSD.
I don't know. People are saying I'm muted.
No, you're not muted.
You're not muted.
Stop it.
People are saying.
Chat, stop it. Putting my foot down.
Is Dean being nice?
Dean's
he's gone. He's
gone.
Back.
Yeah,
he's back today.
Fine.
Oh, I couldn't tell because I saw a bunch of Dean stories.
Oh, he had stuff scheduled throughout the week. We can hear you. Okay, they can hear me.
Oh, that looks weird.
Wait, we can't hear you. Now someone says I am muted.
They are. Okay, like Mike, you need to stop paying attention to chat.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think people would. I didn't think my friends would just lie to me like jerks. I thought they liked me.
Sorry.
I thought I had friends. Yeah, all right, Nick. I know. Okay, well, now that Nick says I'm muted, I know it's absolutely not true. I know I'm absolutely fine.
Should I mute bench you up for a little bit?
No.
Okay.
No.
You're safe.
Them. Let's just make it worse.
Yeah.
Just make it worse. Famous last words.
They like the punishment, I think.
You guys can't mess with me like that. I'm naive and trustful. I'm like a puppy.
There you go. Beautiful alignment you have here.
Yeah, I think that looks pretty good to me. That looks good to me.
The music queued up and shit?
Yeah, let me do the thing. Hit the button here.
What am I doing? I need to get the...
Do you have your Coke?
The notes. No Coke. I have a green tea. I'm trying to cut back.
You guys can hear that?
I hear it.
I can hear it.
All right.
Okay. Podcast rundown. Thank you, Christian.
Podcast rundown. Later, Christian. Okay. We're looking pretty good. You know what? What did I do? All right, that's better. Here, Jason, I'll send you the rundown on Twitter so it doesn't mess up the thing. Hang on.
Send it on Slack. Haha, JK.
I deleted Slack from everything.
Well done.
No.
Yeah.
Listen.
I only use Slack for work.
Well.
Okay. That's looking good.
Oh right. Boy. There's a lot of stuff in here.
Oh.
Well, you don't need to pay attention to most of it. You can honestly just, ride passenger and just kind of go along with whatever we do. That's fine. Let's see. I am looking at chat. I got to get my questions open. That's what I'm trying to remember. All right, questions. Google form, questions for GamesBeat decides.
Where's the best chat to have open?
YouTube. Go to youtube.com/Jeffrey Grubb, I think is the best way to do that.
Yeah, that's our only chat. Yes. I just watch the video stream. We don't go on Twitch, do we?
No,
If we
not for this. No.
Let's say if we did, that's news to me. I'm not noticing nothing.
Okay. I think we're ready. So the way I'll do it is just say, you know, with me is, and then Mike will go first, and so he'll say Mike Minotti, and then right after that, Jason, you can just go and Jason Wilson, and then we'll just take it from there. You good? Okay.
Yes.
Cool. All right. Mike's not mirrored. I know, but that's actually gonna bother me. I'm not gonna worry about it this time, but next time he's gonna be mirrored again.
Oh my gosh.
We have to, it'd be weird if we're just like both facing off to the side. It's weird. All right.
I don't want to be looking at you, even like.
I want to be staring in your eyes while we are talking about video games the way God intended.
People actually, no. Is my calendar? I think.
All right.
Yeah, it's September.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna do a countdown. I'm gonna hit the record button. I'm gonna hit
Chris
the.
Pratt. Hey, here we go.
Yeah, we're gonna have to deal with it. All right, let's do it. All right, 5, 4, 3. It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this. Welcome to the GamesBeat Decides podcast. This is the podcast where we decide everything about the world of video games so you don't have to think for yourself. I'm your host, Jeff Grubb. With me is
Mike Minotti.
And
Jason Wilson.
All right,
from
yeah.
the beach.
Yeah, from the beach. Yeah, so we have a good episode for you. We're going to go over the news and games, but we have our special guest here, Jason Wilson, who was until Monday, or like up until Monday, was our boss, and now is just some bum. You're just some bum on the beach, right? Yeah, that's fantastic.
I'm just a bum. I haven't even shaved this week.
That's
good.
That's
That's
even
good.
better. Yes.
Yes, this is Jason's debriefing here. This
Yeah,
exit interview.
That's
Exit
right.
interview.
Yeah. The company didn't even give me an exit interview because, well, they knew I would probably say some mean things.
Well, you could say mean things here if you want, or say nice things. How are you feeling is what I'm wondering. How is it going so far?
It's going really nice. I've been walking again 5 to 6 miles a day.
Oh, that's good.
So despite eating some more junk food, because I haven't had junk food in a while, and despite drinking a couple beers this week already, I have lost 3 pounds.
That sounds like maybe stress was the problem. So yeah, I'm glad.
I think stress might have been the problem, and I've been playing a lot of Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous again.
Well, that's
There you
good.
go.
Well, we'll definitely talk about that, and we'll check in more with Jason.
I cleaned my car, and I looked at a bidet.
Yay! Everyone's getting a bidet. Yeah.
I got
Everyone's
mine.
getting a bidet.
I set mine up yesterday. That was fun. It's fun because it's easy, but still involves plumbing. So I felt like I was strong and cool.
Yes.
And manly doing it. Good. I was worried too. Like, well, first I didn't tighten things enough, so things flooded for just a little flooding.
Yeah,
Fixed
of course.
that, got it going. I sat on my toilet scared for 10 minutes before I turned it on. I'll tell you what, direct hit. That's all I got to say.
My friend,
1 in a million, kid.
1 in a million.
So like bullseying womp rats.
Yeah, exactly. That womp rats and swamp ass. Yeah.
So Mike, my
Yes.
father was a master carpenter. He hated plumbing. Plumbing was like the hardest thing in the world. So don't feel bad. Plumbing's hard.
Oh, I don't feel bad. I feel great.
Yeah. A little bit of flooding. You dealt with it. That's fine. My friend, when he hooked up his bidet, he did the meme with Vince McMahon when he comes walking down the thing and he's doing that strut. Like that's how he felt after he first did the bidet. Is that how you felt, or what? You feel fresh?
I think I feel good, but I also feel a little disgusted. I still have to get used to this sensation. All right, this is enough talk about bidets. Let's move on.
Well, it's good. It's good to do bidet talk right now because did you see what Costco did? They're limiting toilet paper purchases again.
Wow, really?
I even have Costco. That's like a weird West Coast problem as far as I'm concerned.
We continue to stock up, so we're probably part of the problem. Not like stock up like an extreme amount, but we make sure we have like at least a month's supply.
Yeah,
we
know your hoarders.
Yeah, exactly.
My father-in-law buys a big package of it every time he goes to Costco, and I swear to God, one wall in the garage is all toilet paper.
Okay, we're not like that, thankfully. All right, let's
Excuse me.
get into these credits. You can get more from Mike and me at GamesBeat.com. If you have something to share with us, email the podcast at games+podcast@venturebeat.com or get us on Twitter at GamesBeat. Thank you to Carlos Ain, who is Insane in the Rain Music on YouTube, for the use of our theme song. If you are listening to this on the website player widget, you can subscribe to this to the audio version on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and more. If you're watching on YouTube live right now, hit that like button. It helps people find the show. We've got almost 200 people watching and only 33 likes. So hit that like button. It really does help people see when it's live.
You should beg and grovel harder.
Hit that like button, or I'll quit. I'll quit. Please.
I'm already short-staffed here. Don't do that.
I just realized that I wasn't subscribed because I was always logged in with my work email. So I just had to do that.
Right. Well, hey, thank you for doing
subscriber.
that. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm still a long way away from 100,000, but and to get that little, they send out a plaque or whatever. I don't think I'm ever going to get that. But hey, every single subscriber helps. Join the Discord. The link is in the description. I do not think that discord.gg/GameMess works right now, so I'll probably have to update that. But
you update your Patreon with the right link yet?
Yeah,
nope, wrong Patreon link.
It's okay. Well, that's silly. Who cares if I'll do that soon. Patreon.com/GameMess. Yeah, I'll fix that when I get a chance, and that gets you into the secret channels inside the Discord. Okay, so a lot of news happened this week. There is a lot of stuff to talk about. I guess, Jason, how plugged in are you? Are you just kind of like glancing over at Twitter, or what are you doing? Did you watch the Direct?
I didn't watch the Direct because, well, it was happening when I was picking my kids up from school.
Okay. Yes, I understand that.
So it's kind of hard to do that. So I've been watching it. But really, the only news I've noticed this week was the Nintendo news. Actually, I think I noticed all the news this week because I'm looking at all the news on the list, and it's like, yeah, I noticed all that.
Right. Okay.
So,
it's still pretty easy to stay plugged in. Yeah. You kind of just can't help it with like the people you follow on Twitter. Is that what it is?
Yeah. And the inbox newsletters I get and stuff like that.
All right, that makes sense.
I thought Nintendo was weird.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, of course it was weird, but it was mostly good.
It was a good Direct, and there were some weird things. I guess, Jason, what did you think was weird about Nintendo?
Well, I don't understand why Nintendo wants to do a higher pricing tier to Switch Online, because I don't think they're going to make enough money on it to make it worth it.
I think they'll make money off of it. I mean, but I was thinking about this, and Jeff was talking on his game on Giant Bomb, his Grubb Snack show yesterday, about how Xbox Game Pass isn't profitable, right? And they don't care about it being profitable. They're just trying to make it be a thing. That is not what Nintendo is doing here. They want to make money off of selling their old games like this. So I feel like they almost need to increase the price in their minds to justify it. Now, to us, it seems ridiculous compared to the value of it, compared to something like a Game Pass. And, before, like, these games were supposed to just sort of be like the bonus for getting Nintendo Switch games online, right? And to get the party chat to their stupid app thing does that even still exist anymore? Is that app actually even a thing? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So now they are just basically full on transitioning to, you are actually paying for these old games. That is really what you are paying for here. And maybe you could play Smash Brothers online if you wanted to too.
Right.
So and I understand why they want to make a new tier, because I do think it is going to actually have an impact on how much money they make. I think they will make more money from it. That still makes it kind of scummy, and I'm still very interested to see how much more they are charging, because it doesn't seem like $5 should be right. It'll probably be $10, and it'd be kind of shitty, and it could be even more than that and just be really sort of gross. Like, it could be like a $35 a month thing, knowing Nintendo.
Right,
who knows? It's hard to imagine it's more than 30 or year, excuse me, whatever it is.
I'm just curious if they're gonna make, if they're looking at it as a loss leader thing, or if it's something more than that.
Well, I mean, how much does it really cost to put Nintendo 64 and Sega Genesis games on there?
I bet it's not a loss leader. I bet they make money doing it.
Yeah, because
how much? It's not like Game Pass and all the deals that they have to make to get those games on there, and like what they're missing out on potentially from just selling those games. They already sold these games, 30 years ago.
Maybe I'm coming from the perspective of like, there's only like 5 games I cared about from the N64, and it's like all the good games from Genesis I have on collections already.
Yeah, I don't think you're alone there. I will want to see like how many people go to the higher tier, but I think it'll be significant enough. And I think the point is like they'll make more money because they're so. I guess we'll just say that what the news is that Nintendo announced they are expanding Nintendo Switch Online to include Nintendo 64 and Sega Genesis games, but they said both of those will be on a higher price tier that they did not detail. But I think just like the fact that they are putting that stuff behind a higher tier, some people will move up, and they could have just put that stuff on the same tier and people would have just continued paying the same price, and so they wouldn't have made more money. So I think they're like, hey, we're already giving a lot for $20 a year. So I'm sure that's what they're thinking. I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but I think Nintendo thinks that.
I definitely don't agree with that. I think, we are certainly not getting a lot for it, but I'm sure that's what they think, and that's why they're increasing.
I'm sure it's what Nintendo thinks. So but we'll see.
That's the first thing I thought was weird.
Yes.
The second thing I think was weird is Actraiser getting a remaster and like not teasing it at all. Just here it is,
a remake. Ooh. Well, I think that's perfect for shadow dropping because who actually we remember Actraiser, Jason, absolutely. But we're old. I think for most people, it's like something in the back of their mind. So it's like, just shadow drop that remake.
Yeah. But so many Nintendo fans are older and live in the back of their minds, especially Nintendo RPG fans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's the thing is that's a Square Enix game, right? Though, so it's like
Squaresoft.
Yes. Well, yeah, but it's like Square Enix is the publishing it now, so it's like, I'm not surprised to find that Square Enix is like not exactly sure how to market a game. They always seem to have weird games that come and go, and they don't really build up in big ways. And I think this is one of those examples.
I think it's great that they did it. I just want to see how good it is and what sort of job they've seen. I've seen some people already talk about how some of it is the voice acting seems very sketchy already.
Yeah, I've seen some negative things. I've seen some positive things. I've heard the Switch version actually doesn't run well. I think I think. Gosh, I already saw somebody saying just don't get the Switch version. But I think it was Digital Foundry, actually. I think they're going to be doing a video soon. So I'm definitely not going to touch it till I see their video and see what's up with it. I mean, honestly, like I haven't played a whole ton of that game. I'd almost rather just play the original, which I don't even think they added the original to the SNES Nintendo Switch Online yet. So kind of weird. But I guess now we know why, right? Because they wanted to sell this remake. Yeah. So there it is.
The third thing I thought was weird but makes sense is why they're just calling it Triangle Strategy. That's a dumb name for a game, but it makes sense for what it is.
I tell you, no, so that one I do agree is weird. I don't even like your caveat. I think that is just weird, and I didn't even process that at the time because so many things are happening.
Same.
Like I was just like, okay, I guess it's just called Triangle Strategy now. That's not a name. That's just a descript. Like that's.
I mean, again. Square Enix, guys, have you looked at Square Enix's names for video games? Come on. This is actually not bad compared to many of them.
There is nothing sexy or like interesting or epic about the word strategy.
Speak for yourself.
Chat says SEO, and that's definitely an SEO thing if we're coming from the publishing perspective.
I got
like Octopath Traveler.
I got a raging Pythagorean theorem over here for this game, Mike. So you speak for yourself.
Like I don't know. Name it. Give it a real name. That's just not a real name.
No, it's not. It's not.
It sounds. Yeah, it sounds like a bad like Chinese phone game name. Like what is strategy? Yeah, Triangle Strategy.
Well, not only just a bad one, but a total ripoff. This would be like Fire Emblem ripped completely, except they call it Triangle.
Yeah, they just name it after a system from a Fire Emblem game. So
it's just the system after that. It's named after the system and the genre. Just throw the two.
Triangle Heroes, the Chinese clone.
It's like if you made a Mario game called Side-Scrolling Jump.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Mike, you said they weren't going to do this, and I told you they were. And
I absolutely did not think so. I thought, no. I know that they did the exact same thing with Project Octopath Traveler, but like, so why are they even doing this project bullshit? Why is it when these games come out, they know it's a bad name and they're ashamed of it, and they like are giving themselves space to change it.
They're too lazy. They're just like, we can't think of anything better. It sounds weird to change it now. That just sounds like the name. And yeah, you're right. It's not.
Are we just running out of names? I think there are too many names now. I think there's just no options left anymore.
What
so you end up naming your shit Triangle Strategy.
What it reminds me of is when I come up with one of my really dumb headlines and I refuse to take any other ideas because I think it's
definitely
great.
Part of it, yes.
But I realize it's bad, but I'm committed to it because I've already defended it, even though it's bad.
There has to be somebody who worked there who basically was voicing everything I'm saying and who got yelled down. Like, no, the name's Triangle Strategy. Shut the fuck up.
All right. Any other weird things you want to call out, Jason? Yeah, keep going. Yeah.
The last thing I thought was weird is KOTOR coming to the Switch, because why would anyone want to play that on Switch?
What? Why not?
I'm gonna play it on Switch. It's everywhere. Like,
wait a couple more months and play it on the Steam Deck.
Well, okay, yeah, I get that, but
game. This game will run fine on Switch.
I do want mods.
Famous last words there.
It's an Xbox original game. Yeah,
this is a 2002 game.
Yeah, but I had Jedi Academy didn't run very well on Switch for me.
Yeah,
so, I haven't tried that, I guess, though.
I think they've updated it and it does run better. But yeah, some of those Aspire ports have had some issues. Yeah, that's for sure. But
it just
I probably will play it on Steam Deck.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a game for Switch too, to me.
Well, why is that? Just because you remember playing on a PC?
Well, not just that, but a very big, deep Star Wars RPG just doesn't scream Nintendo to me. That just doesn't seem the place. Now, put me in an X-Wing, that screams Nintendo, because pew, 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 we've done that plenty of times.
Right. I guess I kind of get that, but it's also like, man, this game is it's on phones now. Like, it's everywhere.
Oh, yeah, so it's on everything.
It's on everything.
So it's like, why not? Yeah, if it's on everything except for Switch, put it on Switch. Might as well. That makes some sense to me.
Yeah, but I thought the rest of it was really cool.
Yeah.
Now wait a second. You went on a rant about everything that was weird about the Nintendo Direct, and you're not bringing up the voice cast announcement for Super Mario Brothers movie.
I didn't think that was weird. I think it's disappointing because
so weird,
I would rather see. I don't need Charles Martinet to do Mario, but it would be really nice if it was somebody who's a trained voice actor and not just an actor who could do a voice.
Right. Well, it's like Chris Pratt is not a bad voice actor, and he's already done major animated movies, but it's just. So I think he knows how to do voice acting. I think it's just really weird to specifically cast him as Mario.
Because he's always just done kind of Chris Pratt, but like various levels of like idiot. Like that. Like, is he going to be a super idiot, or is he just going to be kind of an idiot?
Is he going to do a Italian accent? Because he kind of he can't just sound like Chris Pratt.
But that's all he's ever done. That's why I'm one of the big reasons I'm having a hard time with this. Is like, I just cannot imagine him doing anything except for just Chris Pratt's voice.
But I can't imagine that voice coming out just like Mario, right?
Right.
Coming out
that
the
is
Mario Odyssey model of Mario.
Now, the first thing I thought when I saw this was, I didn't realize it was animated. I thought it was going to be a live action one.
Right. That'd be kind of incredible if it was just live action with Chris Pratt as Mario.
Well, that would be bad. But here's another thing. What does Chris Pratt add? Have you ever seen a movie where it's like, oh, it's Chris Pratt, I have to go watch it? Or is it, oh, it's that
Not
movie
anymore.
and he just happens to be in it?
I was excited. I thought it was exciting at the time when he was announced for Jurassic World, but I liked Parks and Rec a lot.
But you're gonna watch anything from Jurassic World?
No, I didn't even see that new Jurassic World. I kind of fell off after that one. Oh no, yeah, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, they're bad.
I thought Jurassic World was a weird movie. I still can't get over that weird scene where they slowly killed that random like side woman character for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes, like just watch her being tortured and slowly dying while she screams for her life. I'm like eating my popcorn. It was almost as weird as the Fantastic Beasts movie where they killed 2 babies on screen. And I'm like getting butter on my face. I'm like, that's weird.
You're such a fan of the Jurassic Park IP.
I'm mostly a fan of Jurassic Park 1, the movie. Everything else has been pretty subpar, really. Jurassic Park 1, it's and some of the games they made off of it, fantastic. Though.
Okay, everything about Jurassic Park 2 sucked until the Tyrannosaurus got into downtown San Diego. That was cool.
See again. I got too nervous because I was like, "There's too much." I always have weird empathy problems. Like, there's too much room for collateral damage here. I'm scared that innocents are gonna get hurt. That's how I act during these movies.
Okay, but back to Chris Pratt. People in chat, like someone's like Game Fire's like, Chris Pratt is a good actor. Okay, we could debate that one way or the other. I don't mind him in most movies, and like if he shows up in a movie and gets work, I honestly don't care. Like I know there's potential problematic issues with him, but honestly, most of my life I go through not thinking about Chris Pratt getting work. It's not about him getting a job. I don't care, and whether or not he's a good actor or not has very little to do with like why I think this is weird. It's weird because Mario is going to sound like Chris Pratt. I am almost positive it's just going to be Chris Pratt's voice. It would be even weirder if he did an Italian accent, because then what are we doing? It's just like, why not?
I bet there's going to be an Italian accent. There has to be. Mario has to at least try to make it sound like Mario. It's not like this thing where we don't know what Mario's supposed to sound like. Well, look, you have to. I'll tell you what. I'm not shocked that it's just celebrities. It has to be celebrities.
But it's not like he's the last celebrity on Earth. This is the thing. People are like, well, of course they got Chris Pratt. Look how much money Guardians of the Galaxy made. I'm like, well, first of all,
wow.
Mario is like a top 5 all-time best-known character in the history of the world.
Right.
Like,
you can't mess with it too much.
You don't have, you can't mess with it, and you also don't actually need celebrities to make it work. But I get Hollywood; they want to have celebrities.
Well,
ever since Aladdin. Ever since Aladdin, they've like, okay, Robin Williams worked really well. We're going to do that. So, but
Chris Pratt's just not the last. People would say Shrek or something. You really know your stuff, Jeff. I'm proud of you.
Aladdin's the thing.
That's when I remember everything changing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Robin Williams set that. That's why Shrek did it, because of Robin Williams. But yeah, I get the thinking in Hollywood, and it's their tradition. They're gonna stick with it. But that doesn't make it make sense that it's Chris Pratt. It's not like 2 + 2 = 7.
Chris
like,
Pratt's
no,
definitely on the low tier of choice. But I will say, like, I don't know who they could have said this is the voice of Mario, and it's a well-known celebrity, and I would have been like, that makes sense. That will work out just fine.
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito would have been probably okay. It's like maybe again, but it's still better than Chris Pratt. I think it just doesn't. Chris Pratt does not compute for me at all. And people who are just like, this makes sense. I'm like, okay, you are from a different planet than me. This is fine, but I do not get it. But mostly at this point, I'm still just like, it's just funny because at that moment when they're saying we're going to announce the cast, they could not have said a funnier name to me than Chris Pratt.
You almost died.
I almost died.
I'm not wishing that you died, but it would have been funny if the announcement of Chris Pratt as Mario is what killed you.
Yeah, I get that. That's fair. Like, if I had to go, I get it.
That would have been good. I mean,
the rest of the cast seems okay.
Trailer. It's gonna be a wild trailer.
It's gonna be a wild trailer.
Okay. Charlie Day as Luigi makes us, but again, there's got to be a bad Italian accent to go along with it.
That one I think is like, yeah, he probably will do an Italian accent. But like the things that like Miyamoto was introducing all these actors, and he was just like, Chris Pratt, he's so funny and cool. I'm like, okay, all right, Miyamoto,
yeah,
definitely starstruck.
I hate that. Yeah, I do always kind of like roll my eyes a bit when we see our beloved games developers, or not so beloved ones, like the freaking Borderlands.
Randy Pitchford.
Randy Pitchford. And it's like, wow, guys, look at this. I'm working with celebrities now. And it's like, okay, cool,
right?
It's fine. Especially, I think I'm a little annoyed too, just from the whole how, for so long, Shiki was like, you guys can't add story to Mario games anymore. Mm-hmm. And these are the 5 approved character designs you can use. And now all of a sudden it's like, Chris Pratt's Mario.
Right, yeah. It's okay. So this is okay,
and
but
I like it, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah, I love this. And he's going to talk a lot, is what he said in the movie. Yeah. So it's like, okay.
Don't you dare put a hat on a bomb again, or I'll kill you.
Yeah.
But Jack Black is Bowser now, by the way.
Officer Problem in the chat says Seth Rogen may even do an Italian accent, and he's Donkey Kong.
That should be the only Italian accent.
So what happened? What I think is interesting here too is it's animated and not live action. It's like, it's so toxic to do a Mario live action movie now, still after so many years.
Yeah, they're definitely more comfortable making it animated.
Yeah, you really missed out on the it was animated thing because that was a day one. That was a day one thing. It's Illumination. It's the Minions guys.
Yeah, it's the Minions
this.
movie people.
Well, I wasn't watching it live, so I just saw that talking on Twitter, and I was like, "What?
No, they announced that 2 years ago that it was going to be animated."
Yeah, but it's yeah. Of course, they were going to make it animated, and I don't know at this point. Although to be fair, when I told my wife, she was like, Chris Pratt's going to play Mario in like a live action movie, so she thought it was live action too. And I'm like, I get why you might think that just because with like the way they have talked about it. But yeah, if you like, they announced Illumination was making this 2 years ago.
So you know what? Between that and Mario Kingdom Rabbids, does this mean the Rabbids could be in this movie?
No, God, because then they have to pay Ubisoft. They're not going to want to do that. That's the only. Thank God, that's the reason that's going to stop it.
What if that's the pound of flesh Ubisoft wanted?
Yeah, even then,
I think Shiggy would tell him to go to hell.
Yeah, he would actually pull out a knife. All right, let's talk about some of these other announcements. There was some very cool stuff in this Nintendo Direct. Overall, I thought it was a good showcase for what Nintendo has in the works. And the first big thing I have listed here is Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
No, I need Mike to talk about this.
Yeah, Mike, talk about it while I go save my kid from killing herself. Hang on.
I was super excited about. This leaked earlier in that day, just like a screenshot, like the featured image of it.
Who cares? How do you do Kirby in a 3D environment, and what makes a 3D environment special for Kirby?
Well, it's special for Kirby just because they haven't done it before. So that's like that. That's it. We've had 20 2D platformers now, and the last one was really disappointing to me. Star Allies was so simple and basic and unimaginative that it almost broke me on the series. And I've liked the series for a while, but Star Allies pretty much broke me. So I wasn't excited about a new Kirby on Switch until that trailer started. And like just before they even showed Kirby, and I was looking at the environment, I was like, that kind of looks like a 3D platformer level. And then all of a sudden I was like, is this finally a 3D platformer? Then he started moving around and that Z axis, and I was so happy. But yeah, mostly it's because I haven't tried it before, and why not? Kirby would be very easy to translate to 3D with his moveset. We've seen how copy abilities can work in Mario Odyssey already, and it's fantastic there. So it should just be a pretty simple implementation. And you look at it, it does look like, this is Kirby in 3D. That's what I thought. There seems to be just slightly more intricacy to his moveset. Like even just like we saw him do kind of like this backup, like back roll dodge thing at some point. Even that, I'm like, yes, this is good. We're just adding a little bit more here.
A little bit more complexity.
Just a little bit more complexity. And when you go to 3D, you are inherently usually adding more complexity. So that's just what Kirby needs. So I'm into it.
It's weird that it's a post-apocalyptic thing.
Well,
I don't mind
Kirby
it.
has done weird things randomly here and there before, so it's going to probably end up with Kirby like slapping God in the face or something.
Yeah. So you may not have liked Star Allies, but Star Allies is great for little kids. But I'm not. Well, a kid. But you're not a little kid. But look at it this way. Kirby is what we train you on, and then when you're ready, you move on to Mario.
I think, but kids can also just start on Mario fine. I think a lot of the time. I mean, that's what I started.
It's hard. It's hard for 5 and 6 year olds.
It can be
a lot more.
It can be, but I'm fine with having Kirby also be like a my first video game thing. I still think you can do that in a better and more interesting way than what Star Allies was. Plus, they also have already made the Yoshi games that basically too. So whatever. And hey, if you want to go forward and make that sounds dismissive, but not, you know what I mean, these easier Kirby 2D games too, that's fine. But I still think you could do it more interesting than Star Allies. Like
as long as you say more interesting, that's fine. It felt like to you was the complexity, and it's like you could still make Kirby great without making it complex.
Right, but yeah, so like Planet Robobot was good just because again they do some things there. They have the mech suits, they have some interesting level design. I don't know, Star Allies just really threw me off. But this looks great, and I'm into the whole weird like post-apocalyptic like what's going on here. I don't know. Some people are actually noticing some narrative ties to Kirby 64 and the Sacred Shards, the Crystal Shards. It came back to me. So that's already interesting. The weird thing is there. Go ahead.
So would this mean that King DDD isn't the bad guy here?
Probably not. I mean, King DDD hasn't been the main bad guy. When was the last time he was the main bad guy? Was it NES Kirby's Adventure? No, he wasn't even in that. Not since Dreamland. There's always, even if it seems like he's the main bad guy, there's been a real main bad guy for a while now. And a lot of the past ones he hasn't been anyway. So King DDD is more often or not like a clumsy, accidental ally. Like even a star ally.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, but no, I'm super pumped for this. I've been watching that trailer a bunch. I woke up today and it was the first thing I thought about is how excited I am for this game.
I usually think about how much I have to pee when I wake up.
Well, I think about how is it worth me going to pee before I take Penny out and risking her having an accident, or should just take her out first? That's what I usually think about.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
you have a backyard. You could pee too.
Yeah, well, I don't have a fence. I have neighbors. But
yeah, go ahead, Mike.
I thought this was the best thing in the show for me because it is weird because it leaked and I thought I didn't care. Then all of a sudden I cared a lot.
Yeah, and
I thought that.
Yeah, go ahead, Jason.
I thought the best thing of the show is, and I thought of Jeff when this came out, was the Castlevania Advance Collection.
Yeah. Yes, very excited. That was definitely a huge announcement. We knew that was coming too based on all the leaks and stuff, but it was still great to see that and to get the confirmation that it shadow dropped and it was there like an hour later and I was playing it on Switch and it's been really good. It's one of the things I've been playing since last night, so I'll talk about that.
What did you start with?
Well, because I just finished Circle of the Moon on my Anbernic like little Chinese handheld thing just like last month, and then I've been playing Harmony of Dissonance on there. I actually went straight to Aria because I'm like I'll start Aria on here, and it's great. It's fantastic. I did actually play a little bit of all of them real quick, but
Are you getting triggered like I am, Jeff, from these people on Twitter just dismissing Harmony, Dissonance, and Circle of the Moon and being like, oh, Aria's a good game, then those are the bonus games? Because I don't know where this... And people have been talking it like this for decades, and I have no idea where this comes from. I started Circle of the Moon last night, played it for a couple hours, and it's just been having so much fun.
So much fun.
It's
still,
great.
Yes.
And they're all so clearly similar to each other. I don't know where this kind of idea comes from, except for maybe just because Iga was dismissive of Circle of the Moon for whatever weird selfish reasons. People are just like, well, then I guess since it's not canon, I guess actually it's not as good. I don't know, but
and like the reviews at the time were like, it was too dark, glowing. But everything was glowing. Yes, everyone.
And like, the too dark thing's not a problem.
Right, it's really not a problem at all. So yeah, I mean, Harmony of Dissonance, I could see some people being like, oh, it looks garish or whatever, and that's kind of how I feel a little bit. But you get over that stuff pretty quickly, and it also plays really great. I think that's the thing with all these games; they're just super playable, super easy to get into. I started playing Harmony of Dissonance on the Switch just to check it out and see what the extra options were, and they do all have great extra options because M2 did the ports, so there's solid ports. There's a lot of great options. You can rewind all that stuff. It looks great.
I like how like there's that thing where basically if you hit an enemy and it can drop a card or a soul or whatever to play, it'll tell you if you have that one already.
Yep.
So that's just being able to map things to X and Y, like things that were on the shoulder buttons before. That's really great. Again, it's nothing like mind blowing, but it's very nice quality. It makes these clearly the best versions of these games already.
Yes.
And how do they run?
Awesome. Great. It's M2. M2's perfect at emulation, and then this is another example of that. And they did add extra stuff on top, like these systems that tell you, like basically that stuff. They add stuff like if you were to like keep like a checklist next to you on like your smartphone while you were playing, they just put that right into the game. It's really smart. You could turn it off if you don't want that stuff.
But talking about Jason was saying about just random weird things, it is weird that Dracula X is just thrown in there.
Yeah, why not Symphony of the Night as well?
Give me a bonus game, sure, but Dracula X is the bad Super Nintendo port of Rondo of Blood.
Yeah.
And it's like, you could just throw Rondo of Blood on there now, please. That would be much better. Or Symphony of the Night has also not come to Switch yet. You could have thrown that on there, too. So to make Dracula X the bonus game is a little weird. Maybe it's like, where else are we going to put this? I don't know. Throw it on there. So, and you know what? They could probably still just do a Rondo of Blood Symphony of the Night collection at some point, and I bet that is coming.
I bet
and that would
be the way to package it. I mean, isn't that how it was
done that
packaged on Vita?
Yeah, recently they did that. Yeah,
Vita was, so they remade Dracula X, and then it came with Rondo of Blood, and then it came with the original, and it came with Symphony of the Night, and that was great. They could just put that on there.
Yeah, Andy says they already did that in Symphony and Rondo Collection on PS4. It was probably timed exclusive. So yeah, they did that as well.
I remember thinking at the time, like, that must have come to Switch. So I said, isn't it crazy how all these Metroid video games are on Switch? And people are like, Symphony Night's not on Switch. And I was like, it isn't?
Yeah,
I guess
weird.
it isn't. So I guess there was
nice.
Go ahead, Jason.
It's nice to see Konami paid attention to its old IP, even if it's old games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is I'm glad they did this.
You know, with the recent release of the mobile Castlevania and this, it means that, you know, someone at Konami has said, "Oh yeah, we do more than just those crappy mobile games and everything." Maybe because of COVID. Maybe because of COVID, they realized they can't rely on polished anymore.
They've been pretty good with collections. Because they had a good Castlevania, they had the good like
Classic
OG Castlevania collection and a good Contra collection on Switch already, and they actually are putting not Rondo of Blood, Castlevania Bloodlines, and Contra Hardcore on the Genesis games that are available through Nintendo Switch Online, which makes me really just hopeful we're going to get Rocket Knight on that collection eventually here.
It's just nice to see, you know, Konami's corpse isn't as dead as we thought it was.
Yeah, they're at least willing to work with them too and get the stuff out there.
Somebody in chat just brought up Lament of Innocence. They should totally just bundle Lament of Innocence and Curse of Darkness, which were the PlayStation 2 3D Castlevania games that weren't great, but also weren't bad.
Right,
like,
they're actually solid.
They're fun enough to play. They're so forgotten right now that it's like, release those. Like they're kind of 3D Metroidvanias more than anything.
Yeah, I remember liking at least one of those. I can't remember which one it was. I
have a hard time distinguishing between the two. They're pretty similar. Is Curse of Darkness even rated or Lord? I can't remember.
It might be Lord of Darkness or something. Yeah, I can't remember.
Lord of Darkness, I think, was one of the reboot ones. Now,
right. Yeah, it's impossible. At a certain point, they all just start melting together in your brain. All right. So some other news: Bayonetta 3 got a new trailer. We're finally seeing more of that game. It is coming out in 2022, is all they said, right? But next year they're going to release it. I think they didn't give anything beyond that, right? No timing beyond that.
Right. You know, it's just coming next year. We finally saw gameplay. We saw what Bayonetta's haircut is going to be. It looks a bit different thematically from the last two. It doesn't seem quite as angel versus devils focused. Like, it almost looked like she might be time traveling or something. I'm not sure. But like Bayonetta games, like the cutscenes almost look like PlayStation 3 stuff. And then when you it's actual gameplay and the fights are happening, it looks super fun and great. And I'm excited.
Same.
Wouldn't that be a good game for the fall for Nintendo?
It would, and it could be. I bet it's the summer, to be honest, because I bet fall's going to be super dominated by Breath of the Wild too. Maybe if it doesn't get delayed again, which could happen.
But then you also have Splatoon for summer. Splatoon 3, right? So Splatoon 3, but they'll figure all this stuff out. Any of those games could kind of fall in any of those like quarters or whatever, and kind of hold them up by themselves.
Bayonetta 3 could be earlier fall, and Breath of the Wild 2 would be later. 2022 is starting to shape up for them because they also have Kirby.
Yeah, Kirby's in spring. In case we didn't say, coming out in spring. Yeah. That's exciting. And then, speaking of Splatoon 3, they had a new trailer for that. They showed some more multiplayer action, and it looks like Splatoon multiplayer, but it does look like there's a little bit more going on. There was some cool new weapons. But then
there was like something that looked like Wrecking Ball from Overwatch.
Yes, right. Like mech sort of suits and stuff like that. And there was one that was one of the squid slime ink suits or whatever that they like worked when they were standing up, because normally you only turn that stuff when you're swimming through the ink. But in this one, the squid kid stood up and was still all covered in ink and was able to like shoot around like Spider-Man. That stuff looked cool. But then they showed stuff from the single player, and it seems like it's going to be focused on like the enemy this time. Instead of like being the octopuses in the last game, it's going to be mammalians. So mammals are returning, and they're going to cause a lot of problems, which is never happened before. The weird
post-apocalyptic again. But there's a lot of post-apocalyptic Nintendo franchises, aren't there?
Yeah. What's great, my kids love Splatoon, and that they rather play that than any other shooter that's appropriate for them at this point. And
it's great.
And they keep playing the older games, and they love it, and they have so much fun with them. It's great to see that this series is thriving.
Yep, it really is. Like Splatoon 2 was at like 12 million copies sold or something like that. It's Yeah,
people forget how well that's sold. Even better than Luigi's Mansion 3, the giant hit that hit it.
All right, we covered most of the big announcements. There was a couple other things I wanted to mention. There's going to be an Animal Crossing Direct in October, and they promised new content is dropping for free in November. So they'll probably detail that then. Any idea what this might be? This feels like this is going to be like all new stuff.
Yeah, it must be something relatively. It's not going to be a new game, but maybe people have been complaining that there hasn't been very interesting or significant new content added to New Horizons. So I imagine that's what we're finally getting here. Some big stuff.
Yep. Go ahead.
When's the last time you two touched Animal Crossing?
Oh, not in a very long time. I'll tell you what, I played this one way more than any other one. So I didn't like leave it in anger or anything, but I did get my fill, and nothing that they've done has brought me back. And I'd be surprised if whatever this is, as substantial as it is, would be enough to bring me back. But I think for the super fans, it'll be nice.
Yep. And there's a lot of super fans because there's a lot of that game sold a lot of copies. So 30 million plus. So
I'm just wondering, are people still doing all the metaversy things with it, like talk shows and playing games and stuff?
That's like Crisis Past, I think, but there's still money to be made. There's still interest there. Although I am more interested in the kind of Smash Brothers, not direct, but the thing they're doing on October 5th, which is the final character reveal. Right. So normally they would have done the reveal, and then we would get the deep dive with Sakurai later, and they're kind of just combining it this time. So I was surprised we didn't just get the character reveal here, but it's fine. We're going to get it very soon, and I'm very excited to see what that is going to be. And they're very clear, this is the last one. This is going to be the last major update for this game. So it's going to be interesting kind of seeing it going sunsetting a little bit after a good amount of continued support. There'll still be updates, I'm sure, and balance patches, and they'll still do stuff, some of those weird weekly events. But last significant content drop. Yep. And like you said, that's coming October 5th.
Yeah. So I'd like to do a promo before we move on.
Please, let's do it.
So I'm still giving away stuff, folks. This is the beautiful alt cover.
You gotta you gotta move it over your face so people could see it. There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, this is the beautiful alt cover of the new D&D adventure, Wild Beyond the Witchlight. These sell for $50, and they're beautiful. And this is done by Hydro64, who's done so many of them all. 74, excuse me, who's done so many of them, and also did the really cool cover for the Gears of War retrospective book. And then I'm giving away a special edition of Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous that comes with a snow globe.
Oh, I like snow globes.
Yeah, and an art book and a cloth map and all kinds of goodies. So if you're interested in any of these, notice in the put it in the Discord or message me, and I will go through and I'll pull random names and I will be in touch with you.
Jeff, I was a big fan of you being really late to flip his image.
Listen, we don't have to talk about that. I was trying to.
But it was fun.
I have you backwards because I have you on the Discord one that Mike's normally in, and I want him facing me. And so you were showing the stuff, and all the writing was backwards. So I'm like, I'm gonna flip him back to be normal so people could read it. And as soon as you put it down, that's when I flipped it. It was like,
that's good,
perfectly imperfect.
Oh. And I only pay for shipping in the U.S. If you're outside the U.S. and are willing to pay half of the shipping, then I'll do it.
Awesome.
Because I'm not working.
I just got set a bunch of random Lost Judgment stuff, including a skateboard deck and a drone. But I don't know if I'm giving that away. Maybe I should, but I don't know. It sounds like work to give this stuff away. I'll just let it clutter my house forever.
Yeah,
I like giving things away.
You're a nice person, Jason. I'm a schlub and a bad guy. So
that's true.
I'm a hoarder.
All right.
True.
We have lots of other news, and then we got a bunch of questions and super chats to get to. So let's keep going. Crystal Dynamics is going to be working on Perfect Dark with the Initiative, which is the studio that's working on Perfect Dark.
Isn't that the one that says they're making a quadruple A game?
Yes,
yeah, now it's a septuple A game because it's a quadruple A studio with the triple A studio. So now it's that's so many more A's than we're used to. That's just math, guys. That's how it works. Done. Well, Jeff, so why is the Initiative failing? Why are they a bad studio?
Right, that's the weird quick takeaway everyone has here. Listen, I wouldn't say that means that this means that the game's in a great place, but this does not necessarily mean it's it's falling apart. It just means it's really hard to staff up. I mean, if I'm looking at this from the outside and I'm trying to say, hey, what's going on here? To me, it is weirder that Square Enix is like, let's hire out one of our major studios to do assist work on a game we don't own. Like, the money is better doing that than putting them on making a new original game. That is weird from like the Square Enix perspective.
Right. I'm not shocked that they got another studio involved. I'm shocked it's not one of their studios. I'm shocked it's Crystal
Those studios
Dynamics.
are all just busy, though. That's the thing. The Microsoft studios are all super busy working on all, like, you know, you want to get people working on this now through the end of the year. Like, what is it? It's September. Halo's coming out in December. So if there's studios at Microsoft who are working on other things, they're working on Halo. But so like, and then once those studios are done doing that, they're gonna go start working on their other projects that are already lined up. That's like true for what's the Gears studio? The I want to call them the COG, but that's not the Coalition. Thank you. Yeah, the Coalition. Like, they're gonna go work on multiple other projects they already have lined up. They're probably just not. They don't have the bandwidth to go work on Perfect Dark. So they're hiring another studio. It's just weird that it's such a huge studio.
Do you think there's a lesson here that when you start up a new studio from the scratch, maybe you need them to start something smaller first before just throwing them at a giant AAA/quadruple A game?
Maybe, but like, maybe this also just works. Like, if this works, then it worked, and this is fine.
Sure.
You know, I think
could also, maybe it's also that, we are so over budget, we just need to take a project.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I don't know if it's super way over, but it could be. But it's like, if they're spending this much money to bring in Crystal Dynamics, they just must have faith that this game is going to be a potential big game, and they don't want to screw it up, and they're willing to make that investment, is what it says to me. So, but like, you know, also there's some things that like connect these two studios. David Gallagher is in charge of the initiative. He was previously the studio head at Crystal Dynamics, so maybe when he was looking around saying, hey, we do need to bring in someone to help, like, he knows Crystal Dynamics really well, and they're like, maybe we could just get them to come in here, and like, Microsoft's, yeah, we'll pay for that. That's fine. I mean, if they're going to pay for it, then
been doing great work for so long.
Right.
Great work, depending on how you feel about the Avengers.
Right.
Even that announcement was like, the people behind Tomb Raider. They did not mention the Avengers.
Right. But I do think the Tomb Raider stuff is probably actually more apt here, where they're like, hey, that's a third-person adventure game, action adventure, and that's kind of what we want people. I guess Avengers is too, but I mean, you know,
it's different. Yeah, it's like looter and all that stuff. Tell you what, probably means if a Tomb Raider game was already pretty far out, probably even further out now, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I think, yes, Tomb Raider does seem like it's probably not going to get a new game anytime soon. All right, the SEC is now investigating Bobby Kotick and other executives at Activision Blizzard for not disclosing reports of sexual misconduct to investors. And I think the way it was framed by the SEC is kind of like Bobby Kotick and other executives were specifically talking about ways to keep these things quiet from investors. This is all alleged by the SEC. They're going to look into it. They're investigating it. And this stuff is in addition to the investigation by the Department of Fair Employment and Housing in California into Blizzard about their treatment of employees and their toxic environment. So things continue to go pretty south for Blizzard and Activision. Yeah,
is it one of the more active investor groups for Activision involved with this too? Didn't they say, hey, no, SEC, we're not happy with this and filed the complaint?
I think there was lawsuits being drawn up by those groups, and I think, asking the SEC to investigate is probably part of that. But those companies or those groups would also just be filing lawsuits themselves, and I think that's already been in the works for quite some time. So yeah, that's definitely all part of this. And you know, people like so. You know, one of the things that's really important when you are a public company is you got to tell your investors the truth. And if you ever have a discussion about not telling your investors the truth, you are opening yourselves up to serious legal liability.
Yeah, this is certainly the hottest water Kotick has been in so far. This is probably one of the first things that's probably affected his sleep, right?
Yes. And this could like, you know, there's all kinds of punishments that can come down. Maybe it's just a big fine, but maybe it's worse, and we'll have to kind of see how it goes.
Just admit it, you're already daydreaming about coding behind bars.
I think is a far fetched, but yes, why not? Why not dream?
So one of the things here that in chat that David brings up is it's about business issue rather than the obvious moral issues. What sucks is when you're dealing with these giant companies, you can't make them do anything unless it's going to hurt their bottom line.
Right.
I mean, that's just the way it is.
The original lawsuit though was the moral issues. It's a civil suit about people's civil liberties, so at least we're getting both and not just the ones. I agree, but at least we're getting both.
I don't think that suit would involve anything really, hurting Kotick, but this one could.
Right. And it's like,
and if I remember correctly from reading this morning, aren't they also asking the SEC that no more bonuses for any Activision exec until this is all cleared up?
No, I didn't see that, but it would make sense, wouldn't it? Usually bonuses are for when you're doing a good job.
Right, and the stock price has been taking a dive because of this news. So,
why would you get
of course,
money?
I'm sure the stock price will be just fine when Activision announces how many people bought the new Call of Duty.
Yes.
Or Diablo.
Right.
2.
Yeah, Diablo 2 as well.
Servers were getting absolutely slammed. So, I mean, they always do, but who knows?
Right. Okay, sticking with Activision Blizzard, Blizzard Entertainment's chief legal officer resigned and moved on. This happened last week, and she posted on LinkedIn earlier this week saying, "Hey, I'm moving on. I haven't announced what I'm doing next. I'm going to take some time off." And that
subpoenas. That's what she'll be doing next.
Yeah, it seems like she'll still have to be involved in that stuff, but it definitely does also seem like a lot of people are getting out of Dodge. The Overwatch 2 executive producer, Mike, his name is Chaka Sunny.
That seems right. I'm always very bad at names, but that seems right. Yes, he also, it's just he's gone, and it's like you said, Jeff. People are getting out. I know a lot of people that I just followed who used to work there who have kind of like taken this time to leave. Some of it just because they were fed up and they feel powerless. Others because if you're executive, it's pretty easy for you to leave, right? You're kind of privileged there a lot of the time. So if you can just take a 2-month vacation and then show up at Sony or Microsoft or somewhere else, Activision or not Activision, but EA, why not? Mm-hmm. So I don't think this is the last of this we are going to see.
No, but my question with Overwatch 2 is it seems like so many high-level people have left. Is it in development hell, or is this just a consequence of everything else, or it's a little bit of both?
I don't think it's in development hell. I think it's in trouble. I think it's in maybe not trouble development, labored development. I'm sure it's not going as smoothly as maybe they would have liked to, just because of the turnover. That game's going to come out, right? Like there were some reports like, oh, it's canceled or whatever. It's going to be pushed back.
It's not going to be canceled.
There's no way. It's going to come out. Development is progressing. It's a huge priority over there, maybe even a bigger priority than Diablo 4 in some ways. So they'll fill in those gaps pretty quickly if they have to, and they do have to. So I don't want to say it'll be fine because I don't know, but they aren't like being like, all right, why don't we just put Overwatch on the back burner or something? That's not going to happen.
Right. It seems like everything is so up down with their games right now. World of Warcraft is in a really rough place. Hearthstone had some rough weeks, but their latest update might be helping things out and making the players happier. The folks still playing Heroes of the Storm pretty happy from what I understand.
Yeah, but there aren't many of them.
No, there aren't many of them. Diablo 2 is rocky because so many people want to play it and they didn't, they're having server issues, but they're also having character problems. And
character progress got deleted, I think, like from people who started right away and then they reset things. So again, these kind of launch things, they do happen a lot, but it is always rough, especially when character progression is deleted. Yeah. That's always bad.
And then Overwatch is, I know people are still playing it, and it's just there, right?
Right, it's super stagnant right now. I haven't played. I still have some friends who played it. I'm kind of shocked that they do because I went back to it, tried to play it not too long ago, and it was just rough. Like I used to love that game. I have probably like 700 hours in it, and just going back, and it was almost depressing. How this is just the same game, I guess, and I don't know. It's not hitting right now. I don't know if it's because of everything that's been going on. And I don't know if it's because it's just the sameness of it, but I had a weird experience when I went back to try and play Overwatch. It was bizarre. Yeah, I mean that is the interesting thing, right? Is all this stuff is happening to Blizzard when they were kind of in a natural low spot, anyways. So it's just really piling on, and I bet it overall makes it not a super fun place to work at right now. So if you can't afford to leave, or if you just really feel like you want to leave, people are going to leave.
And there's a lot of other places hiring, so it's not like you need to worry about trying to find a job. They're gonna all these people leaving are gonna be able to find stuff as long as they aren't, infected with the toxicity and stuff. So, and some companies might be a little bit hesitant, but they're gonna be able to find jobs. Let's see. Apple isn't going to welcome back Fortnite anytime soon.
Shocking.
Yeah, Tim Sweeney was like, "Hey, they said they would let us back on the store. Why won't you let us back in the store?" And Apple's pretty much, to sum up what Apple said in the letter to Epic's lawyers, it was basically, yeah, we don't trust you to like come back on the store and not pull some shit again. Is basically what happened. Like that's what happened last time. Is Fortnite was on the store and Epic pulled some shit. They're like, we're going to put this stuff in the game, and then we know Apple's going to pull us off, and it's going to be this big publicity thing, and we're going to turn that into a PR program. We have a cartoon ready to go. I wouldn't want to work with those people either. Now, Apple did say they will let them back on the store once all of the basically the legal options have been exhausted. That's going to take years though, and I don't know if like Epic could be like, okay, well we're going to cry uncle or whatever, so can we come back on the store now? I don't know if Apple would be okay with that, but they definitely said, once you do all your appeals, then we'll let you back on. Tim Sweeney not too happy about this, but I don't know what he expected.
I have one question here. So say you really love Fortnite and you spent, $100,000, $500,000 in it. All the devices you have play Fortnite are just Apple devices. You don't own any PCs. You don't own any game consoles. Are you just screwed at this point? Is that money all gone? Is that playtime? Is that love all gone?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you have a Mac, is there a Mac version you could just download from the web that would still work? I don't know if that's the case.
Yeah, but let's pretend you don't have a Mac in this instance.
Then
have your phone.
Yeah, you're. It seems like you're out of luck. I think maybe Fortnite is, if you have it on your phone already and you haven't gotten rid of it, you can't update it. So I would imagine that wouldn't work either. So yeah, I think you're just out of luck. Yeah. So
I wonder if anyone would ever file a class action suit on behalf of those players. Because you could certainly be argued that Epic has made some harmful decisions that harmed them, and they lost access to things that they didn't violate the license for.
Yeah, I would imagine that someone certainly could do that. I would imagine that there's probably language in terms of service that says, hey, if this thing gets pulled down, you need to understand that that's a risk you accept as someone who's going to buy stuff from our game. But that doesn't mean that someone couldn't try to argue that this was an undue and without due notice that this could happen like this. I think someone could try to argue that, but I don't know how far that would get in court. But there's lawyers considering it. Let's see. Quantic Dream is making a Star Wars game.
Whoa.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how I feel. But it's not going to be.
To be fair, go ahead. At some point, you should probably have Dean talk about this. But
no, thanks.
I'm excited. I don't see anyone excited about this.
Yeah.
I bet Quantic Dream is excited. I bet David Cage is pretty happy.
Yeah, it's like tough to tell what to expect from this game. They are Quantic Dream is known for making story-based narrative choice sort of choose your own adventure games. This game apparently is going to be a little bit more of an action adventure game, but probably still going to have a lot of that stuff. It's still going to be like a David Cage game though, right? And that's my issue. It's like I think David Cage is bad at this.
But see, even when those kind of games are done well, like Life is Strange or the Walking Dead games, I still don't even care for them. And I understand this will probably have more action elements to it, but I still feel like it's going to mostly be a Quantic Dreams game, which
I wonder if
I bet it'll make for some nice trailers, right? Like it sure is going to look pretty, I bet, and I bet it's going to almost make me want it. But then
it's going to be a game. You're at Jawa, and you're going to go out there and face all the prejudice of the universe and being kicked around.
No, I bet it'll be. Go ahead, sorry.
And you're going to prove that Jawas are more than just, little grubby merchants that take apart things.
That's our word.
Are the Jawas going to be quoting Martin Luther King? Is that going to happen?
Oh, no.
It would be incredible if it's just literally about how droids are second-class citizens in the Star Wars universe. Like, if they are just actually...
If they did that one, yeah.
That. Well, then all they have to do is reskin Detroit.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I bet it'll just be about fucking Jedi, because, of course.
Yeah.
That's what I think it's going to be about. God damn it.
We'll see. It's been in the works for 18 months already, so we're probably going to see it relatively soon in the next year or so. So yeah, maybe. Yeah. Maybe Game Awards, maybe next E3. Yep. But Quantic Dream's deal with Sony it seems like it's over, and that's why this is happening. So I wonder if it's going to be a multi-platform title, or if it is something that Sony's going to get the exclusive on because they have a relationship with Quantic Dream. I'm not sure.
It'd be big for them, probably.
Titanfall 3 is not in the works. This is something that the studio had to address because, for one, the name Titanfall 3 was in that NVIDIA leak, but that was actually a reference to Apex Legends before it got its name of Apex Legends. But then people were still asking the community director, hey, what about Titanfall 3? And the Apex Legends creative director was like, listen, we're not working on that. We have too many other things in the works. There's nothing there. And then people reported that, and Respawn came out and it's like, well, who knows what could happen in the future? And it's like, clearly, they're just trying not to.
Turns out those fucking game journalists were lying to you again.
Yeah, right. They didn't say they're working on one, though.
Quoting what your employee said.
Yep.
I feel like this has been like the 7th time this happened this year, something similar.
Respawn, too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, specifically Respawn, where we report the things that they say, and then people get mad. So like, oh, yeah, we're mad, too. We can't believe the game journalist said that.
Yeah.
Respawn would essentially have to start up a new team of 200, 300 people to do a Titanfall 3.
I think they could probably start with like 50 and like build it up over time. But and they're working on Apex, Jedi Fallen Order 2, and I think a couple of other projects. At least one, but I think 2. They're very, very busy.
They've had 4 major projects so far come out, and the 2 Titanfall games have probably been the 2 least profitable ones, right? So
yeah, exactly.
It's not a priority,
right?
And then it was, and we all wish it was too.
I love Titanfall too.
That would be great.
Club Sega has closed down in Tokyo. It was very sad to see. I never got to go. But like looking at it, it's like, man, if I ever went to Japan, I absolutely would have gone to this. It's the Sega's big arcade club basically in Japan. The pandemic came and they just couldn't keep it going, so they are shutting it down. It was real sad images of like hundreds of people outside it when it was closing down, like taking pictures of it and stuff. It was sad.
Yeah, it makes me just think we've already basically have lost everything like that in the U.S. except for like the ones that are more bars and restaurants than arcades, like Dave and Buster. So it made me think about Disney Quest, and even the Sega stuff we used to have here, like GameWorks and all that fun stuff back in the day. Even the Sega used to have a giant arcade in Luxor in Las Vegas that I went to. That was a lot of fun. And just how much I miss those things. And it was always comforting to know, well, lives on in Japan, kind of. And even that seems to be going to the wayside.
Mm-hmm. There's another thing to hate anti-maskers and anti-vaxxers for.
Yeah. And I mean, but it's like even in Japan where they're relatively good about this stuff, it's like it was dead the minute the pandemic started, no matter what. But yeah, absolutely. Get vaccinated, everybody. Get vaccinated. All right. That does it for the news. Mike, do we have any super chats?
We do have some super chats, and they have just loaded. All right, then.
All right.
Are you ready for this? Not a whole ton, actually. If you guys want to send super chats in, go ahead. If you don't, I'll tell you what, it's already been a busy news week, so that's okay, too.
Right, yeah.
But Kung Fu Hot Dog says, happy Friday, fellas. All I'm going to say is, Marty O'Donnell, what were you thinking? He scored a bittersweet victory and blew it. Yeah, so the Halo composer who had that big falling out with Bungie, he won a case against them, but he had to return all of like the music that he made for them to them, and
including work product that wasn't released.
And it said he just was uploading it to his private channels and stuff, so he got hit with a pretty big fine. I forget exactly what it was, but it was a fine, and it was something he could have just completely avoided. But
isn't he now asking that everyone, buy the stuff he's putting on Spotify and stuff to help pay for it?
Is he? Because that's pathetic.
Yeah, that's an own goal.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Mike Burgess says, when will the beef and cheddar boy get Chris Pratt on the podcast? Thanks. We hate guests. Jason's allowed, especially for his debriefing, but we usually don't, even if they're from, we're not like Miyamoto and we're not like Pitchford. We don't have starry eyes for all these Hollywood fuckboys.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they can get the hell out of here. Chris Pratt, agent, reach out to me so I can say no.
But I, for years, couldn't tell the difference between Chris Pratt and Chris Pratt. I really couldn't.
Chris who and Chris Pratt?
Chris Pine.
Oh, Chris Pine,
I
right?
You said Chris Pride at first. I'm like, who's Chris Pride?
No,
Chris Gaines and
Chris Pine is Captain Kirk, and Chris Pratt is
I used to
Burt
always
Macklin.
Listen. All white people look alike. I've always said this, so I get it.
Especially me and Jeff.
Yeah. All right, Mike. What's next?
From Pillar to Post says, I bought the new Actraiser and it is awesome. The new graphics are amazing and it's bringing back a lot of SNES memories. Okay, so that's good to know. I want to see that the Digital Foundry video is really what I'm waiting for.
I got it on Steam. I'm going to play it myself and I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, I'm going to be so busy with Castlevania games for a bit anyways. Pretty happy. I'm in no rush here. Brett Bingham says, Jeff, Jim Ryan said Sony is going to invest more in acquiring more studios and publishers. Given that Square Enix is on that short list, I'm concerned a deal could ruin PD development. Your thoughts, question mark.
I mean, you would be buying that contract if that's how it would work. But I mean, man, I find it very unlikely that Sony is going to purchase Square Enix. That doesn't, that is such a different league than what they want to be doing. That's spending a lot of money and making a lot of very, very long-term bets on the health of a big MMO, on the health of all these brands and IPs and all of these studios. That's a ton of studios. It's like you're buying a lot of headaches there. You got to think about that. Like people always like, okay, yeah, you're getting Final Fantasy and all this stuff. Okay, yeah, but you're getting a lot of headaches, a lot of a whole new HR department you have to deal with, and any other toxic environments that might exist there. Now that's your problem. And Microsoft's doing it because they're in a situation where they have to, based on their business model. Sony doesn't have to do this. They could just go spend less money making year-long, 2-year-long console exclusive deals and get most of the same benefit that they would get from purchasing Square Enix. But who knows? You never say never. But even if that did happen, the deal with Microsoft and the Initiative and Crystal Dynamics would probably be protected even in that instance. So I wouldn't worry about that too much.
Just like the last Bethesda game that got released.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Microsoft stuck to its guns. Maybe Sony be like, no, fuck you, we're not going to do that. But then that's another headache you're buying. Now you have to deal with getting sued by Microsoft for not seeing through the contract that you purchased.
I don't think anyone's buying Square Enix.
Agreed.
Ariel Delgado says, disappointed with Mario casting. What's next? Pete Davidson as Link. Also, our Mario Odyssey team working on that Kirby game and not Donkey Kong games. I'll tell you what, there's no fantasy casting you can do for the Mario universe that would sound too bizarre for me anymore.
Yes.
That is a takeaway from all of this. People were wondering about that. I don't think it's the Odyssey team working on Kirby, but I'm not sure. It doesn't seem to be how.
Right.
I don't know if it's just the base Kirby game. So I don't know. Maybe they are jumping in there. I'm not sure. I don't think there was anything about what studios are working in that game or not.
It looks so good, though. I watched the trailer a couple times this morning again, and there's so much going on. The animation's so good. It does look complex, but it also looks like maybe this could be the kind of thing where kids can still come and play. But there's just so much fun, colorful stuff happening in that game. Whoever's working on it, I am already so in. So whoever's doing it, kudos.
Brett Bingham says, thanks for saying get vaccinated. That reminded me that I need to get my flu shot today before flu season starts.
Yes, good call. Me too, Brett. Yeah, let's all get our flu shots too.
Yeah, I probably should do that this year. That's it for the super chats for now. If you guys want some more, go ahead, Jeff. You can get going on the community questions.
Yes, let's do this thing. So let's see here. Delta Prime 84 from the secret channels in the Discord, the podcast producers channel, sends in this. I'm in the mood to play some amazing smaller games between now and when the big AAA games start swamping us at the end of this year and early next year. Can you both name 3 smaller games from 2021 that I should check out before Forza Horizon and Halo hit?
Cruisin' Blast.
Cruisin' Blast is a good one. Loop Hero's a good one too. Yeah, it's like a good. I found that to be like a fun distraction, one that I didn't stick with for very long. But when I was playing it, I was really enjoying it. The Forgotten City, I think, is one that people should go back to still. Let's see. Chris Dale's. Okay, yeah, I haven't played that one, but I've heard good things. Let me open up my Steam and see what I played this year.
Benji Bop is suggesting Death's Door.
Yes, Death's Door is one that I'm like is still on my list that I need to play for Game of the Year. Let's see, Spookware, that WarioWare RPG game is pretty good. Spookware.
Yeah.
Also just WarioWare.
I fell off of Valheim so hard, David.
I was shocked when people were bringing that up again because I had forgotten that. I literally forgot what it was.
Really big, good
that was something we talked about earlier this year. That's right.
Yeah. It got a really big update recently, and folks really liked the update.
Mm-hmm.
Golf Club Wasteland is one I liked as well. Golf Club Wasteland and Kiwi's when I started a little bit. That one where you play as a little kiwi bird.
Oh, nice. There's something I'm playing now I don't think I can talk about yet that I would want to add, but I can't.
Okay.
I've got another small one, but it's actually not that small. It's a huge game, but it's smaller.
Yeah, what's smaller even mean? Do you mean like a shorter game? Do you mean from someone said Great Ace Attorney? I'm like, I understand how that's a smaller game, but that would also take you like 60 hours to play through. So
okay, I got one that's actually probably going to be on my Game of the Year list, my top 10. High Fleet. It's on Steam. It is super immersive, weird, sort of Dune-like sort of game where you were controlling this giant like airship, this giant steel airship, and the combat is kind of like Lunar Lander. I talked about it on the podcast a little bit before, but then like you also have to make a lot of hard decisions about where you're going, and you're being hunted down by enemy AI in this overmap, and you need to like decode their communications to find out where they're headed so you can avoid it, because if you run into them you're in a lot of trouble. It's really cool. And then another one here's on my Steam that I just downloaded and I haven't played yet. It's just called Foot Massage. And there's just a lady's legs with feet. And
Jesus,
yeah, Steam. You get that Steam Press account, you're like, I gotta see what this weird stuff is. So we'll see.
Are you gonna chastise me for having a Steam Press account and not knowing it when I actually don't again? Or did you do that for Epic?
I did that for Epic, but I'll do it for Steam too. I don't care.
Yeah, you'll mock me. Play the Castlevania Advance Collection. Also, do that.
Yeah, if you're gonna play one of these, the Castlevania Advance Collection is the one that we would definitely shout about the most.
Yeah.
From Jeff with a G. Hi, Jeff and Mike. With it seeming like the chip shortage is going to affect console availability into 2023. Do you see the 2022 Call of Duty being a cross-generation game? It'd be really strange to see it still be on old consoles at that point, but I feel like it might be inevitable.
Man, I feel like it probably will still be cross-generation. Like when people could get away with it for these big games, they were doing it forever. There was a Madden 98 on the Genesis, like stuff like that. So I do think 2022 is still going to be cross-generation.
Does Activision like money?
Yeah.
It
seems like a more likely chance than in the past. But I always would like to point people towards the PlayStation 5 is selling faster than the PlayStation 4. So in the second year, 2.5 years later, whenever that next Call of Duty comes out, I guess it would be like a full 2 years later. There will be more like PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X consoles out in the wild than there were Xbox One and PlayStation 4 consoles when they switched to just doing next gen for Call of Duty. So
when did they switch? But they did. Last time everybody switched immediately. It seems like so. It's
not with
weird to me
Ghost.
that there is this lingering though.
Yeah.
Did Ghost come out on 360? Did Advanced Warfare come out on 360?
I don't know if Advanced Warfare did.
There's another problem too, and it's the global shipping crunch. There's not enough containers. There's not enough ships. And
not enough drivers.
Once they get to America, there's not enough trucks and there's not enough trains.
Got to bring back the carrier pigeons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finding out when the last Call of Duty was for like other systems here. Let's see. Oh gosh, just like
Do you guys feel like the big problem with like the shipping shortage, like not having enough truck drivers, is sort of like Homer Simpson having his arm stuck in the vending machine, and they're like, everyone's like, oh man, it's a crisis, we got to get this guy out of here, what are we gonna do? And it's like he just wouldn't let go of the chocolate bar, and it's like these employers just won't let go of their profit margins, so they're still not willing to pay people enough to come and do these jobs. That's what it feels like to me a little bit.
That's part of it, but the other part of the problem too is a lot of independent truckers went out of business during COVID.
Oh yeah, for sure, but it's like that's the whole point. They shouldn't have independent truckers. These companies should be willing to pay more to actually employ these people full time, but that's more expensive.
Yeah, that's part of it. But some people also like just to be independent. I mean,
yeah, some do, but there was a huge push towards independent because it was cheaper for companies, put more of the risk on the individuals, and it's the gig economy coming for truck drivers, just like everything else. All right.
So for the last generation, when we had to switch, there was only one cross-generation Call of Duty game, and it was Ghosts. And then Advanced Warfare was immediately just PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So I don't know. Maybe Vanguard will be the only one that's like cross-generation. But everyone seems more on board with that this time, even though it doesn't really seem to make sense to me. So I don't know, man. Maybe that next one won't be. I'm talking myself out of my earlier call.
Just remember, it's a very different situation when it comes to resources, when it comes to moving things around the country, and when it comes to the pandemic.
But it's also resources to make those last gen versions. We've already been hearing so many stories about how painful that has been and how that's impacted development in a lot of games. At least I think Jeff told me that that's the reason why Battlefield had to get delayed a bit. We already know how that ruined Cyberpunk a good deal. We know that was part of Halo's woes, was trying to get that to run on an Xbox One. So I don't know. But then again, there are a lot of people who still have an Xbox One and all they do is play Call of Duty games, and maybe they aren't upgrading yet. But I also feel like a lot of those people do want to upgrade, even if they are just playing Call of Duty, because they care so much about it. It's a weird call. I'm glad I don't make those decisions. A
couple things. Turbo Show in the chat says, no, Call of Duty was cross-gen up until Infinite Warfare in 2016. I don't know. And then Andy points out that yes, I think we knew this. We just weren't saying out loud. Cold War was cross-gen because it came out in the very first months of the new generation, and now Vanguard is the second cross-generation of this generation. Yeah, it's confusing, but whatever.
They are okay. Never mind. Yeah, they are right. I was just looking at this one list that had aggregate scores, and they stopped doing the aggregate scores for 360 and PlayStation 3, so I assumed that cross. But no, Advanced Warfare.
So then almost certainly they're going to keep doing cross-gen. Yeah,
Black Ops 3 came out for PlayStation 3. Yeah, and Infinite Warfare was the first one. Okay, then never mind. What the hell do I know?
So they'll probably keep doing cross-gen. Okay, from Nick GamesBeat. Yeah, we know about armies. That's right. That's all that matters.
That's not covered. Call of Duty, not so much.
From Nick GamesBeat Jail Turbo, are either of you going to play any spooky games in October?
Probably only Luigi's Mansion 3, and honestly, I say that I probably actually won't because I have so many new Switch games to play.
Yeah, I'm pretty busy time. Yeah.
Yeah, I say I want to, but I
Castlevania
probably won't.
counts. You'll probably maybe you'll still be playing some of these Castlevanias in October.
Maybe I'll be playing Aria of Sorrow by that point, but I don't know the pace I'm going. Maybe I'm gonna have those all beat.
I know.
And then I'm gonna be playing Metroid.
Yep.
I'm playing a Lich in Pathfinder right now, so if I'm still playing that in October, I'll be playing that at Spooky.
I'm already in my spooky time, so like playing Castlevania feels like very appropriate. I have Halloween decorations up already, so yeah, I'm playing my spooky games now. Yeah, for these kids, absolutely. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I am going to probably play a little bit of what's the now it just went out of my brain, the Double Fine Halloween game.
Costume Quest.
Costume Quest. I wanted to call it Candy Crush. I'm like, that's not right. Costume correct. Quest is very, very good. I like those. So I'll probably play a little bit of that. My kids like those games too. From Sosuke, Nintendo Showcase was 1 out of 10 because of no Kirby Air Ride 2. Fair enough.
Oh, come on. We already got the best Kirby news in years here. Come on. I tell you what, I think I rented Kirby's Air Ride once.
I think that's what I did
too. I actually want to play more. Man, I do hope.
Is Kirby's Air Ride a game where Kirby farts and that's what propels him?
No, Jason. He's on a star.
From Jake Bogdanoff, Crystal Dynamics working on Perfect Dark. That can't be a good sign, right? I just don't read it that way. It could be a bad sign. It's weird, but it doesn't mean it's not a good sign.
maybe it's not a bad. Maybe it's not a good sign, but it's maybe not also a bad sign. Maybe it's just a necessity.
Yes, it seems like it takes a lot of people to make a big game like this, and this is a studio that started in 2018, and you could spend a lot of time getting to 500 people and hiring in outside studios that aren't Crystal Dynamics to avoid this weird sort of optics thing. But the reality is it's just easier to hire a studio, and if it's a studio like Crystal Dynamics, it's going to work out fine. Now, I'm looking into it. I'll see if there's more there. If there's more there, I will tell you, but right now just my read on it is that this seems kind of like the new normal, and this was kind of thing that might happen more in the future. From Aaron Tonsis, can we just assume that Chris Pratt playing Mario means that God is dead? Yeah, that's how I felt. We have been abandoned.
Chris Pratt that.
Yeah, we have been abandoned, and we are floating alone in this dark universe. Is how I felt when that news was announced. From Eric, if Crystal Dynamics is AAA, okay, here's the joke. If Crystal Dynamics is AAA and the initiative is Quad A, will Perfect Dark be a 7A game? So Mike already got to make that joke. Yep. Sorry about that, Eric. He did send this in before the podcast started. So
yeah, but I also made that joke on Twitter first yesterday, so I still think I'm first.
Okay, all right. So he's taking full credit.
If you're not first, you're last.
From Nintendo Bro, happy Friday, Jeff and Mike. Thanks for sharing what it's like for you two to cover an event like the Direct yesterday. I enjoyed getting to see the process, as well as Mike's incredible reaction to the Kirby reveal and Jeff's excitement over the Castlevania Shadow Drop. Yeah, no problem, Nintendo Bro. That was fun to do.
Shadow Drop, man. That was great.
Yeah, I was like, I'm positive it's got to happen. So I was like,
You made that joke too about, it was killing me about Splatoon. But
yes,
I was like, Splatoon is like they had to rebuild society based off of some kids like 90s punk album. And then you say it's like all they had to go off of was an old Kids Choice Awards.
Yes, the Nicholas Kids Choice Awards.
You covered it live on stream and then wrote it all up.
Yeah, well, we were writing it while streaming it. Yes, and
wow.
It was fun. People seemed to like it too. We had like about 200 people watching, and it was cool. And like we were talking through it, like doing our process, but then we would just go right sometimes, and it worked out pretty well. People seemed to like it. Been a lot of good feedback from it, and Mike did have a good reaction to Kirby, and that probably made it for a lot of people.
Excited. Mike, it just slowly dawned on me what was happening with Kirby, and I got very excited once they knew what they were doing too. They had him looking down that Z-axis corridor, and they knew. And then like they cut to that bit where it almost looks like he's going 2D again, then he veers off. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, and one of the first things they said when they went back to I can't remember who was hosting, but he's like, he's gonna have full 360-degree movement in 3D. It's like, okay, so yeah. They know that's a big sticking point for some people, so I'm glad that they brought that up. You know what?
If you guys had done that a week earlier when I was still around, that stream would have just had me swearing a lot.
Well, we always thought about doing it, but we also didn't want to like stress you out. So it's like, we don't want Jason to feel like he's got to deal with this audience while we're doing this stuff. But
you know what was the thing that always would stress me out the most would be trying to take a screenshot to help out.
Yeah, it was. That's like, I'm like, Mike, get a screenshot of that because I can't do it because I'm streaming it and it'll mess up the stream. And Mike got it at the last second. I'm like, if he had missed that, that would have been like, we would have been stressing out too. But we got it.
Nibble on Twitter always takes screenshots.
Right, just take those. Yeah, just take those. Exactly, I do that too. Nick Turbo, Turok is on Switch, and now you could play it with the Nintendo 64 controller. Nintendo just announced. Ooh, that's a good point. I'm getting that controller. Great. I'm getting that controller. Yeah. I haven't gotten any of the other ones. I'm getting the N64 one.
I did satiate my classic shooter craze a little bit, but when I did see like Turok 1 was on Switch, it got remastered a while back, and I noticed that there was a Digital Foundry video on it that made me like, I want to play Turok 1. Although I think I'm really excited for the Power Slave, that remaster. That's what I'm going to play next. When that comes out. Excuse me.
From Fresh, Jeff, been using the bidet for a few days now. To be honest, it's not getting me all the way clean. How long do you use it for? Do you move around?
To relax the muscle.
Do I just have to? Do I just have too challenging of a butthole, like my priest used to say? Oh no, Fresh.
Whoa, boy.
Whoa, hot stuff here from Fresh. listen.
But I am Roman Catholic. I think I need to leave the room. For
Yeah, he's got to go confess that he was on this podcast.
In the next room.
I use it. You do kind of have to relax, and maybe you have to shimmy around a little bit, but mostly just let it do its work for 20, 30 seconds, and then wipe your butt again. And as long as you do a little bit of cleanup afterwards, you'll be fine.
More fiber.
And then more fiber. Yeah, it probably is more to do with your diet than anything else, honestly. That's true.
That's a trap. I thought, because I had Crohn's, I was like, I just got to eat a lot more fiber because fiber is supposed to be good for your butts. I just ate all the fiber I could. Turns out fiber is bad if you have Crohn's.
Oh,
you
no.
Don't want too much fiber.
If you have Crohn's, don't eat fiber.
Yeah. Like fiber helps you poop more because it's an irritant, basically, or something.
Oh,
I
no.
don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
But be careful. More fiber is not always the answer.
Fair enough. Yeah. Also get your gut right with Jesus and bacteria or something like that.
But
yeah.
Look, seriously, when it comes to day, I've already learned keep the stream on for a while and relax.
Yeah. Don't tense up for sure.
Get it in there.
Let it reach those nooks. Yeah.
Man, this is way too much talk about my asshole for one episode. Let's move on.
Oh yeah. Well, we like to. No, I was gonna say. Okay, bad.
Don't.
I know you will. Okay, this is from Epic Open World. I know you will talk about it. About it on the show. But does the Initiative Crystal D partnership come down to starting and running a AAA studio, or coming down to the fact that starting and running a AAA studio is hard? The pandemic made it harder, and Papa Phil didn't want to wait for a finished game in 2026 and found help. I think all of those things are factors. Absolutely. It's hard to do normally. The pandemic makes it harder. Papa Phil doesn't want to wait. They want to get this game out 2023, 2024. And I think a big part of it is just studios right now are busy. And a lot of the studios that you would hire to come work on these games as like work for hire studios, which is on every game, they're also busy. Like they're booked. Those companies are just all getting as much work as they can possibly handle. So if you can go get something like Crystal Dynamics and it makes sense for this game, then they're going to do it. And I think that's what's happening here. Another one from Epic Open World. Food crimes question. About once a month, I enjoy going to my local gas station and getting a hot dog and a Monster energy drink. What is the best gas station food? I was laughing at my own thing that I almost said there in the middle of that game. I like a hot dog from a gas station. I do. But I also eat the pizza from 7-Eleven sometimes as well.
Nah, I'm not getting any of the hot food unless it's like a Sheets or something.
And I love it.
I'm just getting some pepperoni combos or whatever.
So,
give me a roll of hot dog.
Those are good road trip food.
Where I live, we don't have any good real food options at gas stations except for
That'll happen.
Maybe an AM PM. But otherwise it's really nothing unless you go to like some family owned places. Then they've got like say tamales or fried chicken.
Oh, tamales would be fun.
Yes. I'll try a bunch of stuff, the taquitos and stuff, but I like the basic just hot dog with ketchup and mustard, and sometimes I'll put the relish on there or some onions or something like that. That's what I like. From Charles, started at Kena and loving it. A game with less side quests and areas and to extra explore stops me from feeling the pressure of having to do everything a game has to offer. Do you think the current trend of big open world games with multiple side quests is here to stay, or is this just a phase and we will start to see smaller, more linear games like some older titles?
I think that's going to continue to be the trend for a lot of AAA stuff. But, like the exciting thing about Kena is it's like, AAA. Smaller teams can now make like high fidelity games, like games that look really good.
Yes.
Some people have called Kena like a PlayStation 2 game, and that almost sounds dismissive. I think I kind of know what they mean. But yeah, it has that kind of more laser focused scope to it that is really refreshing. And I also really like that about Kena. I think it's the strength. I think we're going to be able to see more independent studios do something
I think that's exactly right. Yeah. Like we'll see that stuff come up from the bottom instead of being like, oh, all the biggest studios in the world are going to go back to making games like that. No, there's too much engagement to happen by keeping people coming back to your game over and over to play this huge amount of content. That's why Ubisoft continues going down that road. But like, yeah, now we could see that studios that are smaller can do stuff like Kena. I think that's a good example of like, going to come up from the indie space.
As long as Game Pass needs games, we're going to get more things like that, I think.
From Sosuke, currently sitting in the RMV, I wonder if that's like a Canadian DMV. Trying to get a new license since I just moved states. Nope, that's just states. Okay. And wow, this is awful. Why does such a wretched place like the RMV exist? Also, are you going to play Halo this week or next? If so, we should play. I will be, as soon as we get done doing this, I'm going to download Halo and I'll be on that this weekend. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't had that bad experiences at the DMV, which I think they call it here, or I mean BMV. I think we have the BMV here, Bureau of Motor Vehicles.
Yeah, there's been longer lines at mine since the pandemic started, but I kind of have lucked out.
They moved all the stuff online since the pandemic here in Colorado, so I'm like, I just did it all online for the first time ever, and it was great.
And the other thing too is if you belong to something like AAA, go to their office and do it.
Oh wow!
Oh,
I wonder if that's in every state. No, I wonder if I bet that varies state by state, depending on like their local laws and stuff. But yeah,
but check that out too. There's always options to the DMV.
All right, got a few more here. Let's see. We got Benji Bop. RMV. Yeah, what was it like? The region of I can't even think of what it could be. Happy Friday, Jeff. Are your kids back in their cages, Grubb? And Mike, it's like God made you to punish me, Minotti. All right, number one here from Benji Bop. Okay, so what kind of studio is the Initiative? Ever since they were called a Quad A studio, the expectations have been sky high. But now they are publicly telling people they are partnering with Crystal Dynamics. Are they more of a high-level studio that then contracts the heavy load to other developers and provide them direction and guidance? I feel like outside of something like COD, this is an interesting precedent being set. I want to make this like super clear. This is not a new precedent. This is not something new. Like Nintendo partners with outside studios on so many of its games. I just played WarioWare. Koei Tecmo made most of that. Fire Emblem before that, Koei Tecmo worked on a lot of that. Go back to like
the Wild had Monolith helping a lot. I know it's not an outside studio, but
yes, but like still, it's like a similar concept. Go back to F-Zero GX. Sega worked on that. This is something they've been doing for forever. This is not a new concept. This is very, very familiar. In fact,
Capcom made Zelda games.
In fact, I'm realizing, Mike, like once we get done here, I'm just gonna have to write this story because like people are just not recognizing that this is something that has happened for so long.
I think it's easy to kind of be cynical and sort of point and laugh a bit because of that quadruple A.
Yes, good point.
Look, it was always stupid marketing talk, and we all in our hearts to know that, but we kind of want to take them to task for it.
But it doesn't get like higher quality than Nintendo, right? Like Nintendo feels like it doesn't get higher quality than Nintendo, right? Where it's like, I know you wouldn't call them Quad A, or even like AAA necessarily. It's like just Nintendo is their own thing, but it doesn't like get more higher quality than a Zelda or a Mario, and they do kind of similar things with those games. So it's just it's the same thing. Let's see, number 2 from Benji Bop. Do you think they will ever grow to the size of a proper AAA studio, or will they stay relatively small and keep contracting work out? No idea. I mean, we'll see how this works out for them. If this works for them, maybe they'll do the same exact thing next time. I bet, though, the likely thing here is expansion, because that's just sort of what naturally happens with these kinds of studios. And then number 3, does this mean that the Greg Miller dream is dead and Avengers is now on the chopping block come next year? Yeah, what do you think, Mike?
I think development on Avengers is absolutely done once the Spider-Man thing comes out.
I feel like you are absolutely correct. From Louis Patelli, happy Nintendo Direct Hangover Day, guys. As we get ready to move into Q4, what is up with GTA Remastered Trilogy? Might it still drop this year?
Oh, yeah.
Last I heard, it is still coming October. But I'm not surprised they didn't announce it at a Direct. Like, that's not too surprising.
We didn't. There's a bunch of things that we kind of expected. We didn't really talk about that, like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 could have shown up with this. We thought maybe that would be there, and
that's supposedly still coming out next year as well. So you have Pokemon Arceus, Kirby, Zelda, Xenoblade, all these games coming out like scheduled for next year. That's a busy year for Nintendo. All right. Oh, Benji Bop has a self-correction here. Happy Friday, Jason. Screw you guys. I'm going on vacation, Wilson. And good luck on your future endeavors, Jason.
Thank you.
I always have such a negative connotation with future endeavors because WWE would say it every time they fired people, and they would do it a lot, and it always became a joke to be future endeavored.
From Turbo Sean, happy Friday, Jeff. Almost killed by the words Chris Pratt is Mario Grubb. And Mike, Bad taste in video game theme songs, Minotti. I agree with that. And
Whoa!
and special guest Jason just wants to escape Nintendo jail. Wilson, yeah, we put us all in Nintendo jail, and he's out of here. He doesn't want to deal with us being in.
No, Jason tried to get me out of Nintendo jail very valiantly, I might say.
I can't speak on the record about any of that.
I have to grovel after this. No, next week I'll grovel. That's when I'll do my groveling to Nintendo.
Brace yourself some Metroid Dread groveling. I want to start by saying, by giving a big shout out to Jason. It's clear that GamesBeat wouldn't be what it is without you, and we might not even be here right now without these two level knuckleheads entertaining us on this show. Thanks for all you've done, man. Now let's get down to business. How did you all feel last week when Jeff Keighley looked directly into your eyes and with a big sly smile on his face uttered the phrase "anal probing"?
I tell you what, it stuck out. I had to tweet about it immediately.
Yep. Yeah, it was like, all right. Yeah, he just went out there and said that. Like hopefully he knows that's going to be taken out of context immediately, and it was. It was pretty shocking, but also
we didn't even really talk about because the THQ thing happened after the show last week.
I was wondering if I couldn't remember if it happened after the show. I guess was there anything?
We're not going to talk about it now. We've been talking about a zillion other things, but that was a good show.
It was fine, but it was like a full week ago. It was right after the show. Yeah, there was, and that game was like one of the big. I guess SpongeBob is the one other thing I would care about.
SpongeBob was big news.
I know it's cool to make fun of Keighley, but when you think about what he has built over
he's
the
doing
last
great
5
work.
years, it's goddamn impressive.
Yes, he's done really great work with what he's put together.
Oh, no, he can anally probe me whenever he wants. Nothing but respect. It's funny.
All right, we'll get a Jeff Keighley flavored bidet and see what we can do there.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, the 3D platformer revolution. They're finally making a Kirby one. There's a sequel to Battle for Bikini Bottom. I don't know what's going on, but I love it.
Yep, it's good stuff. Another one from Turbo Sean. Bonus question for Jason: what's your favorite game, system, and menu item at Arby's?
So I tell this to my kids all the time. I'm at that. I don't know if it's an age thing or if it's just a me thing, but I don't have favorites. I just have lots of things I really like.
Sure. Okay.
If I had to pick, I have to play this one game and I don't get to play any other game ever again, it would be Baldur's Gate 2. As for system, it's going to be a PC. But when it comes to a game system that doesn't play anything but games, it would probably be, I would say, a PlayStation 3 that had the chip to play the older games on it.
Oh, there you go.
Kind of cheating, but I'll allow it.
Definitely. But cheat. Definitely. Do it.
As for an Arby's, I haven't had an Arby's in years.
Oh, we got to fix that for you.
Far away, right?
Yeah, the closest Arby's is 35 miles away.
Yeah, but you're off work now, going on a road trip, family.
Yeah, I could. But you got to remember, California, 35 miles could be a 2-hour drive.
That's fair. That's a good point. That's a real good point.
But I would walk 100 miles.
I would walk 100 more. Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is,
500 miles. I forget.
I was just sticking with your theme.
The Arby's got turned into a Starbucks.
Oh, wow. That's a shame.
I'm mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was probably already another Starbucks, right? There was probably already one that was pretty close, and or is this the only Starbucks? Okay, fair enough. All right. I mean, California's weird. It feels you always expect to be metropolitan,
there's 3
but
more nearby since then. But the Arby's got turned into a Starbucks, and it's sad. The last thing I remember eating at an Arby's was a beef and cheddar and curly fries.
That's cool. Man, I'm getting Arby's today. That's what's happening right after this show. I'm hungry. These dogs are hungry.
Woof woof.
Woof woof from Louis Pizzelli. Did you guys get man, I'm gonna go get that quote from that Batman movie where he says that, and I'm gonna make that part of our opening for Nintendogs.
We already got a complaint that the opening is too long. You can't add more to it.
I'm adding more, baby. From Louis Pizzelli. Did you guys get a chance to check out the first hands-on gameplay preview of Guardians of the Galaxy this week? Thoughts? I was on the fence about this game, but after watching the hands-on reviews, I'm getting stoked for it. So I did. I played it as part of that event. I played it for an hour, and I'm more excited about it now than I was before.
Which wasn't very at all before.
Which wasn't very. It was very. I thought it looked bad. I thought it looked like a bad video game, and it still is kind of like, it's not a great video game. It's not going to be anyone's game of the year, but it is fun in the right ways. It uses the dynamic of the team in really good ways, both during combat and during dialogue options. I don't think it's going to feel like a full Mass Effect game, but it's taking flavors from that and using that here, where like you are playing as this one character, the captain of the team, and you need to understand how these characters interact with one another to solve puzzles and to progress the story and to take advantage of them in combat. And all that stuff really works, and I was enjoying it. It still has the weird Square Enix superhero problem of they are trying to be exactly like the movie without having any of the actors, and it looks weird and it feels weird.
They don't even have Chris Pratt.
They don't even have Chris Pratt. Too busy being Mario.
The Guardians of the Galaxy game, but he's fucking Mario in the movie.
Yes. I mean, I wish it was really easy to mod Nintendo games so that when that movie comes out, you could go and take Chris Pratt's voice and put it in all the Mario games, because that's how I would play them from now on.
64 very easily.
Yes, 64. Yes, and I'm just gonna
they'll get Jack Black as Bowser.
Yeah, what is this? Self-flagellation? Is that what it's called? Like, that's how I'm gonna play those games from now on. It's just like, let the universe hurt me. Colnap says
it's a good time to leave.
yeah, I've lost it. But Jason, you should watch that our reaction to when that got announced, because I really almost passed out. I was laughing so hard I almost passed out. From Colnap, do you think we will get Game Boy shortly, or was that a bad call? No, that's happening. It's just not. It's just like what I always heard was there's going to be N64, Sega Genesis, and Game Boy Color all coming to Nintendo Switch Online. But no one knew in what order, if they would be staggered, if we'd get one and then the other, or vice versa. And it turns out, I think we're getting one then the other. We're getting N64 and Sega Genesis, and then Game Boy later. Makes sense.
Are those going to be part of that new pricing tier?
I would imagine that the Game Boy ones get put in at the standard tier, and that's why.
Maybe Game Boy standard, but Game Boy Color is the.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Never.
That's what you're really paying the extra $10 for.
Oh my god! I like that person that got on you about the DSi and having a bunch of exclusive games. You're like, why didn't you have a DSi?
That's such a bad argument. Everyone knows why the DSi doesn't count. It's mostly like calculators and shit. All that DSi software. Come on. And it's not. It's just no. Not even going to justify that with a response. Nope, I'm done.
Okay, Mike. That does it for the questions from the Discord. Do we have any more super chats?
We do have one more that came in. David Redicop asks, the Initiative and Crystal Dynamics working on Perfect Dark, may not necessarily be a zero-sum game. Maybe one is working on campaign and another on multiplayer, ? Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But who would be working on the multiplayer?
Yeah, that's like who's there's the multiplayer studio. It doesn't, that doesn't make... it doesn't just stand out to me as like, oh, they're bringing in this team in to work on the multiplayer, because I guess Crystal Dynamics would have some multiplayer like experience with Avengers, I guess, but it still doesn't seem like...
That's not exactly the thing they're looking for here. They'd be looking for something more like if it was like, oh, the Rainbow Six team is joining them, then I'd be like, oh, so they're making the multiplayer for this game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it could also be something like it could also be something like, folks helping out with the animations and the art or things like that too.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Who knows exactly what's happening?
They just need a lot of people. They have to throw a lot of bodies at these things, and that's how it works.
All right, that's it for super chats for now. Why don't we talk about some of these games we've been playing and then get out of here?
Yeah, sounds good. So, Mike, Jason, I have been playing Castlevania Advance Collection.
Me too.
What a surprise!
So I've been playing these games kind of nonstop over the last month anyhow. But when it did come out on the Switch, I did buy it, and then I got it on Steam as well. But I've been playing it on Switch, and it works super well. It's really good. Aria of Sorrow is playing very great on there. I do like the new stuff that they put in, where you can get those icons, those toasts that come up. In Aria of Sorrow, what it does, it tells you whether or not you got the soul power from an enemy. So you kill an enemy, and it pops up and says, hey, this is like the number 3 soul power in the index, and it's either gray, like a little gray ball, or if you've gotten it before, it's a glowing red ball. And it's like, oh, that's cool. I probably in a little bit will turn that off until I get to the point where I'm like going back and trying to get all of those. But as it is right now, I'm just leaving it on because it's a new shiny thing, and it works really well.
I like, yeah, and in Circle of the Moon, it tells you if you got a card from a character or not. And you know what? I love grinding, so I love coming across like an axe armor and seeing, oh, it has a card, and then spending 10 minutes just going in and out of rooms,
going in and out of rooms.
Axe armor,
I did that a little bit
something
too.
on YouTube. That is bliss to me. I love. Then like when that card drops, so happy. It feels so good when it drops.
It's very and honestly in Circle of the Moon that's really useful because it's so easy to miss so many of the powers in that game because you could easily beat it without getting all that stuff.
Opened up usually, and now you don't have to really, and it's super nice. Man, yeah, but we talked about that. I'm having so much fun. I'll tell you what, Circle of the Moon just goes too.
Yes,
I love
it
that
goes,
about
goes,
it.
goes, goes. Yes,
it just goes. I saw somebody message you on Twitter complain that the character moves slow. The very first upgrade you get is the dash. You get
5
it after
minutes.
like 10 minutes.
Yeah, 5-10 minutes. Yeah.
So don't, if that bothers you, please don't. Like you'll get the dash immediately, and it's fine.
And the dash is like a cool mechanic, right? Double hitting the D-pad to like run. It's like it's like this active thing you're doing to keep yourself moving. It's cool.
Yeah. And then you kind of you work your jumps in with that. I also forgot so Symphony Night is great, but it's not super tied to the traditional kind of whip Castlevania 1, like a Belmont style. Here you have like the whip, you have sub weapons and stuff. It leans just a little bit more to that classic Castlevania feel in a way that I really like. Yep. And I had the weirdest thing. Like I was watching some video about like Sega Genesis games, and they were talking about Castlevania Bloodlines while I was playing this game, and the Castlevania Bloodlines song that was playing was the same exact song as what I was playing in Circle of the Moon, just a different version of it. It was like the weirdest, like where's this?
Did it grow extra speakers? Yeah, Jason, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I just realized since I'm home, I can get my Switch back because during video game time, the kids always have the Switch, and then I'm busy doing other things.
Yeah, it's you should get it back, get this game, play it some. It's just they're such classics, and I honestly think if people like, if they played Symphony of the Night and they never played these, they absolutely should. But even if you've never played Symphony of the Night, just hop into these.
I didn't have a Game Boy.
Okay, then you play these. They're so good. They hold up. They are fun to this day. I think it's if you play them on the TV, like the Game Boy Advance pixels look really big and fat. I like that. It's gonna look, I think, odd to some people, but I think just kind of also look at the animation. It's so smooth and nice. It's like it's hard not to be like, oh wow, this actually still looks pretty cool. And so I'm loving everything about this. They're really great games. It's a really good collection, and it's really well done. So I'm just
I have to make a side comment here.
Please.
What is it about schools decide they're going to give report cards and progress reports on Fridays?
No idea. I don't remember when we got that when I was in school.
Whole weekend.
Well, yeah, I just got to notice that my kids is ready to be viewed, and it's like, oh, this is the kid who forgot to turn in homework for a week, and it's like it's going to ruin his weekend, seeing it or not.
I'll tell you what, from experience, he didn't forget.
No, he did. He did, because I saw it. It was in the thing. It just didn't have the thing turned in.
Oh, he did it and just literally didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
I just forgot that homework was a thing throughout all of school.
I hated homework. I never did homework at home. If I couldn't do it before class started, like at school that day, I probably just wasn't going to do it.
This explains so much for the last 6-7 years. I
didn't need it. Homework is bad and stupid, and they shouldn't do it.
It is awful. It's stupid. I'm already at school. You're already at school for way too long.
Right.
People
and like
do at home is ridiculous.
Just test me. If I know it already, say, all right, Jeff, you don't have to do the homework, and that would have saved me so much. Whatever.
Like projects are one thing. If you want to give me some kind of project thing, that's
like
whatever.
Rigorous testing of what I'm capable of. Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Like giving me 10 algebra questions to do every day. Like fuck you. Poston Theory sent a superset just saying, I'm currently grinding the electric skeletons in Circle of the Moon, and I actually just finished doing that last night. That was like one of the last things I did before I fought another boss, and then called it a day.
Yep. All right. That it's, the RPG elements in these games really stand out when I go back to them. Like, oh, these games have even more RPG elements than modern Metroidvania games in a lot of cases. Like, they're just the menus look like a Final Fantasy game. The equipment screen looks like all the RPGs I was playing at that time, and that stuff just works so well. It fits so well with the Metroidvania because of that grinding too, right? Where it's like you're going to do a lot of backtracking. So hitting a guy, seeing the points come, or the HP fly off him, and then know you're getting XP for that, it's like it works so well because it's like, okay, I'm going back through there, but I don't mind because I'm gonna get more XP, and I know that one guy drops a lot of XP, so
tolerable. Yeah.
Right.
What else you been playing, Jeff?
Yeah, I finished Deathloop. It's fantastic. I really like it. It is. I gave it a 5 out of 5. It is. I will say, like, to be like a little bit more nuanced, it's like a soft 5 out of 5. I feel like it may overall, and I'm going to add some of this language to the review when I get a chance. But it's it maybe is a bit too guided. Like, I love that you get to focus
That's what I was feeling.
Yeah, I like that it gives you the chance to figure out the how of it however you want. But even then, I feel like I would also like to be doing a little bit more discovery than even I was doing. I was exploring all the time, and I really like that stuff. And I like that the game keeps track of everything for you. But I just wish that if I were to go off the beaten path, I would find a ton of stuff to go out there. That would have solved the problem of it feeling like very guided. But it's a little bit too guided to really like. It's not going to be my number one game of the year. It's probably still easily in the top 10. It's right now. It's in the top 5. As I play more games, I think it probably will squeak into the top 5. But it's still overall. It's like a really good game, right on that border between 4 out of 5 and 5 out of 5. And I went with 5 out of 5, and I feel good about that. But yeah, you said that's how you're feeling.
Yeah, I felt bad interrupting you just now because somebody was yelling at me in the YouTube comments about interrupting you too much.
No, it's fine. That's how the show is, and that's the way it's going to be. That's fine. I interrupt you all the time.
Here's my question. I really don't like these immersive sims. I didn't care much for the Dishonored games. Should I try Deathloop, or is it just a waste of my time?
Oh, you would hate it if you.
No, I don't. I didn't like
games,
immersive sims. That's the whole point. I think
but
this
he also
game
doesn't like stealth games.
But you don't have to. I think this is a game. Listen, you got to play a little bit of stealth, a little bit, but once
early on, you have to stealth up quite a
little bit, but
on.
Very quickly, I think it opens up. And once you get your weapons, you could play it as an action game. I think it works really well as an immersive sim because you are looping through these same areas, so you learn them really well. And if you come up with an idea, you can execute it the next day instead of being like, well, damn, I didn't do that cool idea. Now I feel like I wasted that whole thing. You never feel like you waste an opportunity to learn in this game because it does so good at executing on this time loop thing. I don't
think Jason's going to like it. First-person immersive sim with stealth elements.
Wait for it to come on Game Pass next year and then play it then. That's what you should do.
Yeah. Savage 105 asks, why don't we just have a 10-point scale because you called it a soft 5 out of 5, which I guess
I don't want to.
Like
I usually don't want to do that sort of language, but I felt in this case it was like it was worth bringing up. But I like the 5-point scale. It's 4 means I love it. 5 means it's one of my favorite games of all time, and I think Deathloop is my favorite immersive sim ever, which is how it got to the point where it's like 5 out of 5, and it like opened me up to this genre in a way that I haven't been opened up before. That's how it got to that place for me in my head. But it's like it's not perfect, and I wanted to illustrate that, and that's where that soft 5 out of 5 comes from.
We used to have a 100-point scale, and I was the one who got rid of it. Said no, we're just doing 5 because I still
5
like the
works
idea.
most of the time for most things.
Right, 3 is like a good game with problems. 4 is like a good to great game, and 5 is a game that's great that you also feel strongly about in some way. So
what I like about it too is it makes you hone in on your criticism.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it's a 3 or is it a 4, but in the middle is like, okay, well then you're just kind of like, just giving up and just saying, oh, okay, well I can't decide which one, so we'll just put it in the middle. No. Think about what you mean and what you say and why you want to give it that score and then justify it.
Right. Yeah. In this case, it made me think about what's important to me, and it's important to me that this game got me into immersive sims and showed me the joys of the genre for the first time ever, really. So like that to me is worth more than okay. And then on the other hand, it's maybe a little bit too handholdy. It's handholdy in certain ways, and okay, I'm starting having this debate with myself. But the thing I really care about the most was that first point, and that's how it lands in 5 out of 5.
Yeah. If anything, we're going. I would, if I changed it again, it would just be the no score thing. We'd be trendy like that, but I don't think we're really going there.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, it's not that. Not that.
I think we're fine with the 5-point scale right now. I've also been playing. I've been playing Diablo 2 Resurrected. It was a little frustrating last night just because we couldn't connect forever.
Sure.
I want to play a lot with my brothers, but it settled down. And look, it's always so hard to tell because server launches always are bad, right? It's always hard to tell if this time it's really too far and it's super awful and I'm really mad or what. But I was playing it a bit before that too. I didn't write a review because I wanted to see how the servers were going to handle, and I wanted to spend more time with it. It seems like a really good remake to me. It seems like they did a really good job here, just kind of building on top of the original game with some slight improvements and just making the graphics look nice. And I really do like Diablo 2. That is still probably one of my favorite games of all time. So I have been having a lot of fun just going through, trying some character builds that I never did before. It is easier now to play with my brother's stuff, and the controller support is very good. I almost like playing with the controller more, just because it's easier to hotbar like abilities like to your buttons instead of kind of scrolling through and deciding what's going to be on like your right click ability. So yeah, I guess short review there. If you like Diablo 2, I think you're going to like Resurrect.
Yeah,
it's not a dumpster fire like Reforged was.
Good.
You know, I just wish they would have put couch co-op in, because that's so great in Diablo 3.
It is.
And it seems like if you're going to make it for a modern audience and make it look modern, you should make it feel modern.
So yeah, I'll tell you what, I actually invited my brothers over when I got my review code, not thinking that maybe this one doesn't have couch co-op. I wasn't sure. That's I figured. When I'm playing it, I almost do kind of understand, like the UI and stuff is just enough more complex in this one that maybe that's just too tall an order. And again, this is just basically built on top of Diablo 2, right? They didn't rework it in a lot of ways, so the camera would be an issue, stuff like that. I bet they could have done it if it was something they were really ambitious about. I kind of understand why they didn't, even though it is a bummer, because Diablo 3 couch co-op is fantastic. It's basically the only way I liked playing it on Switch too, because I like treating Diablo 3 as an arcade game, basically. That's how I look at it, like a twin stick shooter with RPG elements is how I
played Diablo 3 for the first time in years with my oldest, and he loved it. It had so much fun, and I had a lot of fun with it.
It's flashy and it's action packed. It's fun. Like Diablo 2 to me is more like an RPG with like the capital letters, and I like playing it and playing it more like that. So it seems to be a good remake right now. It's so hard and nuanced talking about these things, because you want to, you need to bring up everything that's going on, how that company's a dumpster fire. With this one, at least you could kind of be like, this is mostly a Vicarious Visions joint. And I got that impression just from covering it, because when I got offered the interview, the two people I talked to were Vicarious Visions. It certainly feels like that, not just like in terms of like the polish and stuff, but there is something Vicarious Visions about it all.
Yep. Jason, you've been playing Pathfinder. What's up?
Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. So this takes the storyline from the tabletop game, which is about fighting against the demons that have come out of this thing called the World Wound, which is like a passage to Demon World. And you start out first, the town you're in gets invaded, and then you fight them off, and then you have to take this fortress, and then you have to go take the fight to the demons. And where this one differs from the original Pathfinder is you still have some kingdom management later in the game. You still have your party of 6 heroes, and you add in, you got like 9 or 10 to choose from, and you level them up and all that. Where it differs is you have an army management layer, which sucks. I really hate that, but the rest of the game is really good. And you have mythic paths, so you can turn your character into an angel or a demon, or in my case, a lich. And I'm really enjoying what this has to offer, in that it's the stakes are a little higher level than what you had in Kingmaker, so you're playing with higher level characters, higher level spells. You get access to them too. It's 1E rules, David, not 2E, because it's based on Wrath of the Righteous, which was 1E, and it basically takes the Kingmaker code and updates it. I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying the encounters. I'm enjoying the turn-based combat, how I plan out my characters, how I'm building my characters. I've already rebuilt one character because I wasn't happy with the way that the studio spec'd them out. And so I took away their finesse fighting and made them more of a spellcaster for that class. And it's just very enjoyable as a turn-based game, and we still don't get enough of these old-fashioned PC turn-based games anymore, even though there's been a bit of a renaissance with those. At the top of the scale, you've got Baldur's Gate 3. Then down here, you've got all those indie games that are pretty cool, but not always with that same epic scope. So, I gave this a 4 in my review when I finished it off, and it's just, if you enjoy D&D and Pathfinder and that kind of thing, you're going to really enjoy this game too. But it does have It does have some problems, but you can turn off army management and not have to deal with it. You can even turn off the kingdom management and not deal with it, and just focus on the story, which will give you a good 60 hours of gameplay. If you do it all together, if you do all the different sorts of management that come with it, it's probably about 100 hours.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. It's cool that like it scales like it's scalable like that. That's neat that like, you can pick and choose how you want to interact with it. That's neat.
Yeah. And then the way you can tinker with the rules is you don't have to level up the other characters. They'll level up automatically if you want that. You could do it to where everything is just a story mode, and so everything you fight is easy. You could go up to the hellish modes. RPGs have had that for a long time. Mm-hmm. But there's so many different little things you could tinker with to make it your experience.
Yeah,
we sure are going to have a gap in our computer RPG coverage going forward now.
I think I did add this to my Steam account, but I'm like, I don't know when I have a chance to play this. But no, I'm glad we got an update from Jason on it. Jason, anything else? Mike, anything else? Any other games, or should we head on out?
I think we should.
The only game I'm playing is an old one. I'm just back on playing Spell Tower on my phone every now and then because I love word games, and I wish there were more good word games.
Yeah, I was kind of in the same way.
Free to play.
Yeah.
Crap.
Yeah, I've been looking for word games as well recently. I'm like, I love Boggle. I think I had a friend who I think he works at IGN on their art department now. He made a game for iPad years and years ago. I remember it was like at PAX East. He showed it to me, and it's called like Word Fighter, and it was Boggle, and like you would play it like side by side. You'd both be on the same iPad doing it, and I'm like, that was so much fun. I was like always waiting for it to come out, but he kind of like released it on iPad and then let it go, and I'm like, oh man. And I don't think it even works on iOS anymore. So even if I had a device to play it on, I wouldn't be able to get it. So I was like looking for something like that, and yeah, you're right. There's not a lot of good options out there, so you kind of have to go with the oldies and the goodies.
Yeah, and there's this other one called WordWeb, WURDWEB, and it's like a Scrabble type of environment, but it's a puzzle word game. So you have to figure out how to make the words fit the puzzle.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to check I'm gonna ask you for advice on some good ones because, like I said, I subscribe to the New York Times crossword puzzle and stuff recently, so I'm just in a mood for that stuff.
Of course you have.
All right, everybody, we're gonna wrap up. Let's go ahead and let's start with Jason. Where can people find you on the internet, Jason?
Right now,
if you want people
Twitter,
to find you,
Jason_Wilson on Twitter, and I've been kind of quiet, and I'm probably gonna be quiet for a little while until I figure out if I'm gonna either go find another job, open up an editing shop, and be a projects editor, or do something else. I might start a Patreon. I have a dream, and I will talk about it at another time, of a business I would love to launch, but I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah, I bet you could do it. I believe in you.
Go sit under your vine and fig tree.
Yeah, for a little bit, but if you have a dream,
for a little bit.
I think you could probably pull it off.
Washington talked about his vine and fig tree too, and then they made him president. So
yeah, fair enough. Mike, how about you?
You can find me on Twitter at Tokoto, TOLKOTO. I just want to say, Jason, I hope you enjoy your little break here, and then do what everyone do. He's been with us for a long time, guys, for like about 10 years, really, with me and Jeff, going back to Bitmob days, and he basically taught us everything we knew. We knew and know. I don't know why I said new, but yeah.
Because I forgot it all.
Because I'm sure you've forgotten some things.
Yeah, I write good now.
Thank you, Jason.
You know what you don't do anymore? I haven't seen it in years. It's the hyphenated LY adverbs.
I know. I guess you got that on me. I gotta start beating Jeff up about starting every other sentence with and.
Nah. Jason, let me get away. No, Jason, let me get away with it. You're not gonna be able to stop it now. Not gonna be able to stop it now.
Look at me. I'm the editor now.
Jason, thank you so much, man. It was really wonderful working with you. I'm glad you could come in and do this podcast with us.
Anytime you want me.
Yeah, anytime you have a bug up your butt about a game, you let us know. We'll get you on here. Well, we'd love to get your take.
I will.
Yeah. I'm on Twitter at Jeff Grubb, everybody. You follow me there. But yeah, me and Mike have been alone for most of this week because Dean's been off, so it's been a hell of a week. But it really like shone a light. I'm like, oh yeah, we needed Jason around. But we're gonna figure stuff out. We got some people I think coming in real soon. We'll have some news to announce there. But for now, if you go follow Jason, keep an eye on him. If he does do his things, it'd be great to kind of follow him as he does those things. All right, we're getting out of here, everybody. Have a good one. Until next time, bye. So I don't mean to cut this short, but I really...
Yeah, go pee.